Me. Can you hear me? Am I coming through? I'm here. I've figured out how to do all of this. Kind of. Not really. There are things that are definitely not. Yeah, let me. I don't know exactly how to do some of this stuff, but we'll figure it out. Here I am. Started on time, didn't we? Well, not a huge deal. It's not a huge deal, but it's a fine deal. It's good to be here with you guys today. I don't know how long we're gonna go. I'm trying to figure out a few things here. Like, I got the social stream going, but I don't remember how I'm supposed to like make. Dustin showed me a bunch of things. Listen, we're just lucky we're here right now. I don't know exactly how to make the chat appear so I can pop it up on the screen. You know what I mean? But anyway, it's good to be here with you guys. Happy to be here with you. Maybe is this a screen? Maybe that I do. Can I? Yeah, like I don't know how to do it. Oh well. Here I am. Good to be here with you guys. Hope you had a nice weekend and that everything is swimming in your world. It's hot as fucking hell here. Actually, not today. It's only 79 degrees here, but it's been like in the mid 90s for days. For days and days and days. Days and days and days and days. So many days. You think Dustin's watching so he can help me how to... Dustin, if you're watching, what did I miss with the chat thing? I did things a little differently. Like we were using OBS and then obviously use YouTube Studio. And I think in Dustin's notes, like I missed something. I'm like, how does one connect the OBS to the YouTube Studio? So then I just did it a different way. So I fucked it all up basically. But anyway. So I hope everyone's having a nice Monday, wherever you are in the world. Maybe you're in Europe and you're just getting home from work, settling in. Maybe you're in California and you're just getting to work, also settling in. The Assassin AK says, Colin, I'm from Alabama. You don't know what hot is. Yes, I do. Enough with that. It's regularly 100 degrees here. You think it's that much hotter? Like it's that much hotter in Alabama than it is here? The chat pop-ups come from Stream Ninja, Micah says. I know that, but I don't see how the streaming chat dock and overlay. What is this that just popped up? I don't know. Well, anyway, it's a process. What we're going to do, let me see if I can show you guys this, because this is pretty exciting. Let me see here. There's nothing up on it yet, I don't think. Yeah, I don't see anything up on it. But look, I have to hit the transition button. We can use a browser. This is it's kind of like a ripoff of Astrobot, isn't it? This is Brave, the Brave browser. But look at that. So we can use a little bit of it. We got the browser going in case we want to see some sort of visual. But the chat, I don't know. So anyway, I want to talk about whatever you want to talk about today. I assume you'll have many things that you want to talk about, but I assume there are probably a few different things we can do that. Just be here for a little while. Again, just kind of stretching our legs. You know what I forgot to do? I should do that right now as well. I forgot to post this on Patreon. I promised I would keep posting on Patreon, but I shut the comments off so that no one can bitch. There's no bitching. There's no whining. There's no whatever kind of, you can't cry, no wiping of tears, that kind of thing. All right. Let's see. Create, post. Create it. Go ahead and create the post. Don't be afraid. God, I wish I knew how to get the chat going though. I wish I remembered how to do that. I'm sorry. Well, anyway. The chat. Oh, that's the same text from Micah. Oh, I should probably do this. This is probably a little bit of a better shot as well. There we go. A little drum kit back here. Drum kit back there. Okay. So big news over the weekend. Well, actually this morning. It looks like Kotaku's reporting that Compulsion's been shut down. I don't think that that's a a huge surprise. So a lot of things happening in the Xbox world, nothing happening in the PlayStation world since they don't speak or do anything. So really not a huge help for me as far as these things are concerned. Let's see. Play me some drum fills. I don't want to play drum fills. I actually couldn't find my drum key the other day and was like ripping my room apart trying to find it. And then I found it underneath the hi-hat pedal. Like it just kind of fell and then slipped under the pedal. And that didn't work for me. Oops. Oh, we'll do this. I wish I could figure this out. Oh well. I felt so here's the thing. I didn't feel confident at all coming into this. No confidence. Not a shred of confidence. But we did sit down a few times. I did it all. And I'm wondering, like, what? The chat thing is just bothering me so much. Does it really matter, though? I'm literate. I can just read what you're writing. Is it that big of a deal? Oh, Lockmort, how do I get my OBS or something where I can click the chat stuff? Let's see here. I'm going to figure it out. I want to sit here and figure it out. All right. Well, whatever. Let's go through some of these super chats. We're just getting our sea legs. It's office hours. If you were in college at any given time in your life, you know what office hours are. We're just doing a little bit of that. Just easing into it. I think next week maybe we'll try to play a game or maybe we'll have a guest. I have all these presets like, you can have a guest. And to get the guest in, we have to have the Video Ninja thing going and all. Or not Video Ninja. We have to have some other app going. I don't know what the fuck, man. Why is it so complicated? You see, I don't really watch streamers, but I know a lot of them are stupid as fuck. If they can figure it out, why can't I figure it out? Doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. Does it? Maybe it does. Maybe it makes a little bit of sense. All right, let me duplicate this tab so I can see. And let's see, live. No, we want fan funding. Remember, we only do $5. Should I put that in the chat, actually? Let's see. Only reading $5 plus. No, we'll say $4.99 plus super chats. Right, like JT Smash can figure it out. He's working with maybe a 75 IQ. You know what I mean? So can I post this? If I post this, only reading $4.99 plus super chats, and then can I pin it? Yes. All right. DSP can figure it out. I don't know how stupid he is. He might be very stupid. I don't know anything about him. He strikes me as a little more clueless than authentically stupid. The most dangerous stupid person is the person who doesn't know or acknowledge, in fact, how stupid they are. And that shit kind of bothers me a little bit. More than almost anything could ever bother me. Dustin, you are needed. Dustin, where are you? Dustin Furman, come save me. I'm like the guy in the car that praying to Donald Trump. One of my favorites. Donald Trump, come save me. All right, Lena, I don't know how to say your name. Mikulik? I think it's some fucking disgusting reference, probably. Do you think there's a chance future big Xbox titles like Elder Scrolls 6 skip Game Pass? They lost $300 million with 1 year of Call of Duty, and Skyrim has sold more than most Call of Duty games do on their own. Maybe. By the time Elder Scrolls 6 comes out, who knows like what the situation looks like. The bigger thing that I'm fascinated by with the Elder Scrolls 6 is this idea that Microsoft will make it an exclusive game, which to me seems insane. Like so insane that you can't even really imagine how they would financially get away with doing that. There's this idea that there's this notion, let's say, that the only way to turn things around for Xbox is to have these robust exclusives. I say it's too late, and nothing is going to turn it around. If you put Elder Scrolls 6 on the Xbox, it would sell units. Mostly would sell on PC, though. I think they have to kind of monitor carefully what they want to do. You would assume the Elder Scrolls 6 is easily a $500 million game at this point. Have fun selling it to your small user base. So to me, that seems like a non-starter. But the bigger thing that I feel bad about with the Xbox situation, though, now is just people can... I actually asked an Xbox fan this recently, a friend of mine who's in the industry, who's a big Xbox person. I was like, why do you continue to do this to yourselves? Like, the next day, now it's better. We're going to... Whenever I say something, people are like, oh, the salt is real and you can't handle it. I'm like, can't handle what? The fuck are you talking about? What is this, the 17th time in the last 4 years it was going to turn around? You joking? It's nonsense. It's utter nonsense. And we don't have to deal with it. I don't know what not dealing with it means, really, to be honest. McBee-Man wrote in and said, with Dusty gone, will lock post this week sacred on Friday, Saturday, or Sunday? Who knows? Honestly, who knows? I don't. JD says, show chats on screen when you read them. You want me to fucking kill you? Is that what you want? I'm not happy about that comment. Lockmort, how do I get into OBS to read the how do I get the chats to appear? Lockmort, help me, Lockmort. Help me, Lockmort. Oh, he commented earlier. I didn't see. Lockmort, help me. Help me, Lockmort. Yeah, both. How do I get them to pop up? Both. Help me. You're trying to help me, but you're not. Remember when I see someone said, delete your System32 folder on your computer? Remember back in the day on IRC, the big thing was you would get people to to do that, press Alt Control F or Alt F4 or whatever it is, which resets your computer. I got in like 1996 doing that. Just clicking, keep clicking. Lockmort, I need your help. Help me, Lockmort. Help me, Donald Trump. What was that guy doing in the car? Do you guys know what I'm talking about? This will be a good use of the let me see if I can help me, Donald Trump guy. Oh, please save me. Please save me, Donald Trump. Oh yeah, this is it. Oh yeah. All right, hold on a second. I think I got it. Let's see if we can do this. I don't know if this has audio or not. Let's see. Donald. Yeah, it does. All right, so hold on.
Trump, if you can hear us, please, Donald Trump, please save me. Please save me, Donald Trump, please. I'm asking you. Please save me. Please save me. Please get these people away from me. In dear God's name, please stop these people.
Oh my God, they're breaking. Well, I gotta go back to
Donald Trump, if you can hear us, please, Donald Trump, please save me. Please save me, Donald Trump, please. I'm asking you. Please save me. Please save me. Please get these people away from me.
It's kind of sad when you think about it. Oh, that's good stuff. It's so good. Oh, it's so good. If only we could put the chat on the screen. Lockmort, please. Dustin, are you watching? Is Dustin's cousin watching? Oh, boy. All right. In OBS, you can select the browser that holds the chat and add it as a new window, but I think Dustin just does it through. In OBS, you can select the browser that holds the chat and add it as a new window. I don't know. Why did Dustin have to have sex? Anyone ever think of that? It's like it's not enough for you to have sex. It's like, oh, I got someone pregnant. Oh, that's fun. Cool. We get it. You had sex. We understand. We get it. We totally get it. You had sex. It was a lot of fun. You ejaculated. They swam. They got home to where they wanted to go. Yada, yada, yada. 9 months later, here we are. Now I'm streaming alone. And I don't know what's going on out there in the world. Okay? I don't know how to do any of this shit. Let me be honest with you. Without Dustin for a long period of time, I would just retire. Because I don't, or I'd have to hire, see, this is the thing. I would have to hire someone new. I would have to just trust. I would just have to trust someone. I would just have to trust a new person. Lockmort's European, like, the reality is I don't know exactly how that would work with the amount of money that I paid Dustin. Like Lockmort is a freelancer, so we can pay him and it's fine. But it's a little complicated.
Donald Trump, if you can hear us, please, Donald Trump, please save me. Please save me, Donald Trump, please. I'm asking you. Please save me. Please save me. Please get these people away from me. In dear God's name, please stop these people.
Oh, you're right. I didn't make the Patreon post. God damn it. It's always fucking something. I'm so sick of this company. I didn't want to be a boss. Doesn't anyone understand that I didn't want to be the boss? I didn't want any of this. It's like, oh, I'm like, oh, I'm going to quit my job and go do a little thing by myself and just be left alone. You know what I mean? And then someone goes, oh, it's great. You can't do it all by yourself. You got to hire people. You got to hire a bunch of people and then you don't know what you're doing anymore. And years pass. Years pass. Years of my life have passed. And I have no idea what's going on. He can't have any more kids. That's it.
Donald Trump, if you can hear us, please, Donald Trump, please save me. Please save me, Donald Trump, please. I'm asking you. Please save me. Please save me. Please get these people away from me.
I don't know why I find it so funny. It's really not. It really shouldn't be so funny. Who needs Dustin? Stay away for years if you want. Come back when your kid's in nursery school. We'll be a whole different company by that point. I'll have another Dustin. His name will be Nathan. And he'll know 5 times more about technology and 10 times more about video games. And he'll have an even better PS1 physical collection. Lockmore, how do I put the chat on the screen? I don't know what to do. All right, what's the next chat? Let's see. Where did I put that screen? Oh, there it is. MC Brew B-Man 89 says. Oh, no, did we already do that? With Dusty Boy gone, we'll lock post this week, Sacred on Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I think we did that one already. Lockmore wrote in with only €2. But he says, you got this, boss. Does it look like I got it? Does it look like I have it right now? And let me ask you a question. When was the last time I ever had it? The Patreon post. God damn it! I got to get the Patreon post going. See, this is the other thing. Also, can the fucking Defining Duke guys delete their posts when they're done with the show? Why am I always the one deleting the posts? I'm always deleting the posts. Maddie can't delete the post. Cog can't delete the post. I'm the one that has to delete the post. Because I have to do everything. Oh, you gotta pay me. Oh, if you're not on the show, the traffic goes down. I'm getting this thing posted. I gotta find the last one, though, because I need to copy. What was the last one? Was it the showcase? Oh, the Xbox showcase. Okay, so I think I got it. Oh, my God. Fucking bullshit. Office hours with a Dustin-less Colin Moriarty. And isn't it going great? And isn't it wonderful? There is a little bit of something that's fun, though, about it as well. Something a little chaotic and perhaps unpredictable in some way. But seriously, Matt, if you're watching this, delete your fucking posts. Delete your posts. You don't need it anymore. It's done. It's like when you mow the lawn and then you blow with the blower at the end. It's the best part. It's what it all leads up to. It's the sign that you're done. Right? Like when I'm putting sacred symbols together and right before we record, I go through the thread again to make sure I didn't miss anything, and then I delete it. Because I'm always thinking. Let's see. Now I need to put the fucking URL in there. Okay, we got the URL. And we embed it, and that's great. And then we gotta fucking make it free, and we gotta add it to the Sacred Streaming Collection, and we gotta tag it. You know, one of the things I love about writing the word sacred, if you've never done this, try it for yourself. It can all be done with one hand. Just very quickly with your there we go. With your left hand. And you're golden. You're good to go. No, the DD was posted today. Last week's thread is still live. Do you understand what I'm saying? That last week's thread is still going? It's like you don't understand.
Donald Trump, if you can hear us, please, Donald Trump, please save me. Please save me, Donald Trump, please. I'm asking you. Please save me. Please save me. Please get these people away from me. In dear God's name, please stop these truth.
This is how I feel every time I have to talk to you guys.
They're breaking.
And that's Randy coming into the window.
Donald Trump, if you can hear us, please.
The thing about that video, I learn more and more about that video every time I watch it, the blinker. There's the blink. I guess it's the hazards, perhaps. The noise going. You know, blah, blah, blah. Very environmental. Very environmental. Maybe Coleman says you would go broke without us. At one point, that was true. But you've given me too much. And now my power is completely beyond containment. The browser source's OBS is supposed to be static and set to Stream Ninja already. That's why it's not in the guide. The browser source in OBS is supposed to be static and set to Stream Ninja already. That's why it's... Well, we know Dustin shouldn't be a technical writer, I guess. Guess we've learned that today. You know what video I love too? Let me see if I can find this one. It's like I found it. All right, I found it. This is a favorite of mine. We've talked about this one in the past, but if you've never seen this, I think you're in for a little bit of a ride because this video has about 7 or 8 layers to it that I think are really important. Hey, Micah, by the way, so you were saying that, can we fix it? Yeah. Yeah, I have it. This is the right URL. Yeah. Featured chat overlay. Overlays? Yeah, I don't know. Really, it doesn't matter, I suppose, at the end of the day.
So I measure time. I've compressed and condensed time. I've bent it. My day is 6 a.m. to noon, and I'm not crazy. You're crazy for thinking it takes 24 hours, just like some dude in a cave did 300 years ago. My second day starts at noon and goes till 6 p.m. That's day 2. And then the next day is 6 p.m. to midnight. What I've done now is I have changed and manipulated time. I now get 21 days a week. Stack that up over a month, I'm gonna kick your butt. Stack it up over a year, you're toast. Stack it up over 5 years, my entire life is different than it would have been otherwise. So
you get it now, right? There's so many funny parts of that video. Like you literally do have to watch that video like 10 times to get everything that's funny. Oh God, the hot dog's back. Maybe the hot dog can figure out how to get the chat overlay going. No? Okay. Also, the hot dog has mustard on it. It's gross. What are you doing? Oh, the Patreon post. There's a note on the hot dog. Give me the hot dog. Give me the hot dog.
I need you to focus.
Focus, Sam. There's a fucking note. Wait, where's... Oh, it's over here. It says Patreon post on it. Isn't that cute? Great, thanks. Thanks a lot. The Patreon... Oh, God, I just X'd out of the Patreon post. No, I think I'm all right, actually. Okay, wait a minute. Wait. Oh, wait, there's an important part of this. Allow comments from... no one. Now we publish. And the deed is done. Weird a spirit to this, an energy to it. Oh, there's a weird spirit and a weird energy today. Here in oh, you got your you gonna put your hot dog back?
You can't have it.
Oh.
You know where this is?
Where is it from?
This is from James
Oh, that's from James. James Solar sent us a hot dog. That seemed like it would be an expensive thing to ship. Now, if you didn't watch Sacred Symbols this week yet, you're a retard, first of all, if you didn't do that. But you might have seen that a listener got me a rock from Downton Abbey. And this is my new prized possession. Right here. This is a rock from Downton Abbey. From the driveway. It is a mineral, JD, yes. It could be an igneous rock for all we know. I was pretty good at earth science back in high school. I liked it. You're measuring things. You're weighing things. Is this metamorphic? I don't fucking know. Who cares? There's the rock. It's not, well, I mean, it could be. Well, do we have? He sent us pictures of him holding it at Downton Abbey. So it would have been quite, I mean, it's not that big of a scheme if you want to fuck with a person, I guess. That's a long game, though. What I appreciate more is Anthony Martinez says, he says downtown like fountain. Hey, Anthony, are you fucking stupid? It's Downton. D-O-N, D-O-W-N-T-O-N. Downton. It's not downtown. It's not Downtown Abbey. Get that kid back to his short bus. Here's the rock from Down Abbey. Very exciting. Very exciting. But it was the case that I loved the most. Hey, you could put anything in it. Look, I have a dongle here. This is what you want a little piece of Sacred Symbols lore? This shitty little dongle for the SD card, I use this to dump all the audio and video. Should be in a fucking museum. And when it's in a museum, they're going to present it like this. What do you think of that? Pretty exciting. God, we've only been going for a half an hour. It feels like I've been doing this for 17 years already today. It's always something with you fucking people, isn't it? CZ asks how stoned I am. I'm never really stoned. When you smoke weed for 25 years in a row, it kind of becomes and you never stop. Just constantly. You're kind of just that way. And it always makes me laugh. It's like, oh, Colin's such a pothead. And and it's like, well, what's your excuse? Why am I dominating you in life so badly if I'm such a fucking loser stoner? How did that work out for you? Yeah, Colin, he's just a stoner. He's an idiot and he doesn't know anything. I did pretty well for myself considering I'm a stoner idiot who didn't do anything and doesn't know anything. What's keeping you in place? What's keeping you steady in life? You don't have an answer for it. And you never will. See, that's the best part about it. Is that not only do you not have an answer for it right now, you're never going to have an answer for it. You can think and think and think. You know, it's like when I watch a lot of this true crime stuff where they find, you know, they'll come and find a person like 35 years later because of he left his DNA at the scene or whatever. And it's like, I think it's something, it's more likely that there are not even enough people on the earth for it to not be. In other words, like 1 in 2 trillion or something. That's the likelihood of you besting me. About 1 in 2 trillion. Yeah. Jack says big winning an argument in the shower energy. Dude, what is it about that? The internet has, you know, I've been on the internet for like 30 years now, but it's like over time you realize that there's almost nothing special or unique about you, and that every single thing that you thought was weird, it's like, oh, I kind of like have these fake conversations sometimes. You know? And then you realize like everyone has them. It's weird. And like the internet has shattered the individual perception of a person, I think. Because you're like, oh, I have all this unique shit about me. And they're like, no, everyone's fucking crazy. What is this? Where are the super chats? There they are. Jingjun2551. That's what it says. It sounds racist when I say that. But Colin, he says Colin, actually. What team are you supporting in the World Cup? What fucking team do you think I'm supporting in the World Cup? I mean, what team do you think I'm supporting in the World Cup? Yeah, I'm rooting for Scotland. I hope the Scottish win. What are they even doing in the World Cup? Why doesn't Great Britain have its own just team? They have 4 different teams. I watched the U.S. game. I've watched actually quite a bit of the soccer game, a few of the soccer games. Micah and I have talked about this. Micah hates soccer. I like all sports. Like, I enjoy watching almost any sport. And almost playing almost any sport is fun for me. I just like athletics. I was an athletic person. I am an athletic person, I suppose, still. I'm 41. I'm kind of old now. And I played indoor soccer. I didn't play outdoor soccer. I played indoor soccer like a man. Man, it was scary. I played for IGN's team, actually. First time I played out for IGN's team was when I was an intern. I was the goalie of the team. We were playing teams that were so much better than us. It was insane. And we didn't win one game. And some of the, what I remember so clearly, this was in 2004, the first year I played, was I was I was in college. I was an intern at IGN that summer between like sophomore and junior year or whatever. I was actually an intern twice. And there was a team that didn't even speak any English. They were all just like these Spanish dudes, Mexican, whatever, and obliterated us. And then there was a team of Irish guys, and they also obliterated us. I was in, I'll tell you right now, way over my head on that team. But then again, so was everyone. There were like 2 players on that team that had any idea what they were doing. Fran Mirabella was really good. And a guy that old IGN PC readers might remember called Dan Adams. He was probably our best player. I had a big mohawk. And that was when I was still like kind of Catholic. So I wore a big cross. I wonder if there are any pictures of me. I don't know. But anyway, back to so I like soccer. What I like about soccer is it's extremely athletic. Micah and I were noting that what's interesting about the game is it's the one sport where there really is no body type per se, because you run around so much that it must be impossible to keep on weight. And why would you really want to? So like in baseball, like your DH is probably, could very well be like a, maybe you put him in, well, back in the day before, like when you had a, in like the National League, for instance, or not in the National League, but, well, yeah, like before the DH was universal, sometimes you would place, you'd like want your first baseman to kind of like, he was a slugger. We had this with, on the Yankees a few times, and, so he's maybe a little bit bulkier, and then maybe, your shortstop's a little lankier. And in football, of course, your linemen, your offensive linemen are heavy as fuck. And, you have a corner, but you have a slot corner who's like 5'8", those kind of body types. I noticed that the goalies in soccer are the only ones that have different body types, and they often seem like, for whatever reason, the bulkiest. But it's a great game. I love the shot of the pitch from eye level because it shows you how big it is and how insane it is that you have to run around, like that much, miles and miles a game. So it's an incredible sport. Here's the thing about soccer, though. The timekeeping is nonsense. Now, I've said this my whole life. The timekeeping is, and I want to reiterate this, nonsense. And then at the end, my favorite part is at the end of the half. They're like, yeah, play another like 4 minutes. Go ahead and play another like 4. Go ahead and play another like 4 or 5 minutes. That sounds about right. It's fucking like, it's the craziest thing I've ever seen in my life, to the point where I think on the next American game, I'm actually going to time how much the extra time should be, because what was I watching? I was watching a game last night. It was 0-0. Who the fuck was it? And they scored very late in the game. Broke the tie, whatever it was, very late in the game. And so it's like the 88th or 89th minute. And then it's like they're celebrating for until 91 and a half minutes. At that point, they were like, we're going to add another 6 minutes. And I'm like, all right. And then they were like, nah, they celebrated too much. We're going to add another 7 minutes. And I'm like, what you could do, I know this is crazy. You ready for this? What you could do, now I want you guys to, this is going to be a tough one for you guys to maybe wrap your heads around. What you might want to do is when the ball goes out of bounds, or there's a penalty, or someone's injured, or there's a goal scored, what you might want to do is stop the clock. I know this is it's a crazy situation. And then what happens is when you get to the 45th minute or whatever, the half's over, because you've accomplished the 45 minutes of actual gameplay. It's just an idea. I know it's the beautiful game and it's perfect the way it is, but it's just an idea. I remember when the United States was playing Ghana some time ago, maybe I don't know what the fuck it was, 2014 or something. They scored a goal late and they played so slowly. Like the ball would go out of bounds and then they would just walk as slowly as they could to pick the ball up. It's fucking not. It's so fucking stupid. It's the reason I can never totally get into soccer. And it's the other reason that I can't get into soccer is because the 4 major American sports are all much better than soccer, but also we have other sports that are also better than soccer. It's no disrespect to soccer itself, because I think it's a great game. A lot of kids grow up playing soccer. I think it's fun. Very athletic. I'm very impressed by it. Is it better than American football? Give me a break. Is it better than hockey? I mean, are you fucking serious? The thing is it better than lacrosse? The answer is no. It's not. It's probably somewhere in the realm of like, I don't know, rugby. It's up there with Omega Ball. And I'm going to be watching shit like that on ESPN over the next couple of months, because now we're in the NHL finals ended last night. The NBA finals are over. I've been watching weird shit like the baseball World Series for college. I've been watching a lot of softball. But when you get into July and August, that's when you get into the doldrums. That's when you're going to be watching WNBA games. God help us. You're going to be watching things like Omega Ball and all the fake sports that they have on. The indoor golf shit, I think that's done. You know what I mean? They probably have some sort of the thing where you throw the bags. Why can I never remember the name of that? The timekeeping in soccer is so fucking stupid. And it is so stubborn. And my favorite thing is like, oh, the clock runs in the NFL. I'm like, but there are rules about it, right? Like, that's part of the strategy, right? It's not the same, right? Like, there are total rules. Like, if you want to stop the clock, there's a bunch of ways you can do it. If you want to run the clock, there are a bunch of ways you do it. Right? I mean, it's part of the strategy. But in soccer, it's just like, oh, I have a fake injury. That's the other thing. The incessant fake injury shit. Why is Mike and I were wondering this? I'm like, okay, 80s, even 90s, before that. It's like there's not great footage. Who knows? Dude, you're being caught in 4K from like 17 different angles. That dude didn't even touch you. We all saw it. In fact, in the U.S. game, I think that one of the guys got called for diving. See, in the sports I watch, especially hockey, that's a no-go. And the rare occasion that someone feels like they dove in hockey, they get called a penalty, and that person will probably get beat up at some point in the game because he's a bitch. The hockey's self-regulating, which is one of the great things about the sport. I'm not crazy about fighting in hockey, but it does serve a purpose. And then you're even starting to see some of the diving in basketball, but in soccer, it's insane. Like, these guys are babies. And it's so surprising to me because they're so athletic. They're so strong. Their fucking legs are huge. They have infinite stamina. Their lungs are strong. Oh, he touched me. I gotta roll around and hold my leg. Shut up. Fucking loser. We're winning the World Cup. Aladdin Slow wrote in. Said, good to see you. It's bizarre to see you alone. Feels like Dustin is just waiting in the background, hiding his face. Except he isn't this time. He has bigger fish to fry right now. I'm going to tell you. Oh, got a few more text messages there. Pork, why are you so upset? Because I'm noting to you that soccer timekeeping, they literally just start the clock and then whatever happens. It's like, yeah, that's all part of it. And then at the end, my favorite thing is like the refs are always like this. They're always like writing shit down. And then at the end of the half, the guy will hold up the sign. And it'd be like, 4 arbitrary minutes. It's fucking nonsense. It's so stupid. It's so stupid. And when the next US game, which is what, US Australia, I am going to time the amount of time that the ball is out of play each half. And it's going to be something like 12 minutes. And then at the end of that, they'll be like, yeah, +3. And then, by the way, it won't even 3 minutes. Like, at some point, they'll just blow the whistle, like at 2:45 or at 3:10. They'll be like, yeah, it's over. That's about it. It's about it. Oh, the ball's out of bounds? We're gonna go chase it. And then we're going to stand there and look for someone to throw it into. This will be about 30 seconds. That'll happen about 25 times this half. Oh, the ball's kicked over the net into the crowd and there's a corner kick or whatever the fuck it is. I don't know. That would be a goal kick. There's a corner. Let's just say there's a corner. Oh, it's a set piece. Give us about a minute and a half. We'll set that up. Give us about a minute and a half of the game clock. We'll figure it out. Cyanide 1980 says, how is Colin today? You tell me. You tell me. I mean, I'm trying to explain time to Europeans. So you fucking tell me how it's going. I'm trying to explain. It's like explaining air conditioning to them. They don't get it. What is that, a clock? It's got number. It's got clocks. The clock's got digits. And what do? You measure time with it? It's not just a thing that happens. Oh, the soccer game kind of loosely happens in this time frame. So you tell me how I'm doing. Hey guys, what if when there's a 45-minute half, it takes 45 minutes? Oh, we're watching an NHL game. Oh, someone flipped the puck into the crowd. Keep the clock running. No big deal. Keep the clock going. Jared Morales says, I think we, the audience, can help you with the stream. All we require is your PSN linked email and receipt of your last purchase. Can you just stop with that? Can you stop? Because you're upsetting me now. Now you're upsetting me. Now I'm upset. Here's the thing. I'm not going to stream for very long, but I want to stream for long enough where it makes me question whether I want to mow the lawn today because I just don't feel like doing it. I'm not in the mood. It's hot as fuck. The air is so thick that you just can barely walk through it. It's like walking on a planet with 1.5 times the amount of atmospheric pull on you, the gravitational pull. Let's say a planet that's slightly bigger than the Earth. But it's not that. It's that the air around you is actually made of sheets of 100-degree water. And it's only June 15th. Also, my pool's still not ready. So it's not like I can even enjoy it. Now, the word on the street is tomorrow the process of the beginning of the end begins for the pool. For what happened is, because I got everything redone back there, as everyone knows, so we had to get a new liner. And then the guys came to install it last Friday. Not this, so 2 Fridays ago. And so they cleaned the pool and they were ready to go. Very nice guys. I like these guys a lot. Been working with them for years. And so they lay out it's a vinyl. They lay it out and they're like, it's a problem. The pool liner is a foot too short. So I had to deal with that. It's not their fault. It's the liner manufacturer's fault. So I'm sitting here waiting. They got the replacement made. So Tuesday or Wednesday, they say. Now, the problem is, here's the thing, is I like their confidence at this company because I was saying I'm having a Father's Day party on Father's Day, which I am. Mike and I are inviting, it's like 15 or 16 people. Something like that. Family. And, my Uncle Mike is my godfather, so do that for him. And then just all the other fathers. My brother-in-law, my mom's husband has his own kids from his previous marriage, et cetera, et cetera. So the fathers don't have to do everything. And so it's like, let me serve you on this day. And I said to them, I was like, I have this party coming. This is kind of getting a little tight. Also, I'm a little worried because we're in a drought in Virginia, and actually a neighboring county is now on a drought restriction. You're not even allowed to fill your pool up, meaning you have to go buy water, which is annoying and expensive. So they said to me, don't cancel your party. And I got to say, I love that confidence. I love that confidence. But I'm dying to get in there, man. Because when it gets it's going to get hotter than this. And the crazy thing is it is sometimes, I was just talking about this on the phone with my dad last night, because I grew up with an in-ground pool in New York, on Long Island in New York. And we were kidding it's like the pool was never warm, ever. Never. Like, sometimes it would be a little more comfortable than others, but it was pretty cold all the time. So when I got the pool down here, I'm like, it'll probably be pretty similar. It's a little sunnier here, whatever. That thing's a fucking bathtub. And so between that pool, and I have a heater, I've never used it. What a fucking waste of money. Thousands of dollars to get this thing. Because I was on the Long Island state of mind, where I'm like, well, maybe you'll need it, make it more comfortable, extend the season. I really should have, and my uncle told me this, should have gotten a cooling unit. So sometimes if the sun is blazing and then the water is as hot as the air, it is too hot to be in the pool. And that's going to happen. And I'm losing these prime hours of it's not even summer, really, early pool season. It's a little disappointing, but you got to roll with the punches in life. Joey Zahn says, love you, Colin. Hope you're well. Thank you. I love you too. Are you related to Timothy Zahn? By chance. The best pool weather is overcast. I've always felt that way. You're still getting bombarded with UV rays, but it's not as bad. And I was joking about this with my who was it? It was someone like where they were like, "Oh, that's kind of serious." Where I was like, my parents never one time in my entire fucking life told me to drink water, told me to put on suntan lotion, or anything like that. So you have to understand, I was running around like circa, like 1992 in elementary school, just doing whatever out there. I don't know, like, I look around and I'm like, parents seem so concerned. Like, my siblings seem so concerned about their parents, or about their kids, rather. Our parents didn't give a shit. They were great parents, but they were like, no one was like, oh, you should take a break and drink a water. Colin, before you go outside, put on some suntan lotion. It was like, no, just go burn. And that's why I have like this olive, I think it's part of my olive hue. It's permanent, but it's going to age me quickly. Let's also remember, I had skin cancer. So thanks, Mom and Dad. Appreciate that. Cyanide says, any update from Papa Dusty yet? I will let Dustin deliver the messages. All right. Rock Band. I'm fan. Thanks for Brad for getting Colin set up. He truly cares. We are blowing this young man's head up. And we got to be careful about it. We got to be careful about it. Because I don't want to see Brad with too much power. I don't know what that looks like. It scares me a little bit. Does he need more power? Does he need more encouragement? He must be really feeling himself right now. That pisses me off. Rainmaker's Quest says, whatever happened to PlayStation's first-party games like SOCOM, Resistance, and Killzone? At this point, I'd take a remastered over a remake. I mean, we've talked about this extensively on Sacred. I don't really know. It would be not. I mean, I don't even give. I actually don't. If they literally never went back to Killzone or Resistance or Infamous or whatever, I don't care. It's fine. I loved those games when they were out, played them. Sony's always known when to move on. The thing is like, why don't we have a way to play them on modern hardware? Like, it's not a lot of money. It would both not cost a lot of money, and it wouldn't make a lot of money to be like, we're going to put the Killzone trilogy or whatever on PS4, just so it's backwards compatible moving forward, and so on and so forth. But I'm surprised they don't do that. Now, I've said it ad nauseum. I think out of all of the old IP, big IP, Sony's, the Killzone is the one that I think they should revive the most. And SOCOM to a degree, although, because I think SOCOM could have been a Rainbow Six Siege competitor. I mean, it's almost begging to be. But they just haven't done it. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, Killzone. I mean, I love Resistance more than Killzone, but I just think Killzone makes more sense to go back to. It was bigger than Resistance, and I don't want to be repetitive. It's like, I really feel like the subject matter of Killzone and the entire idea of the Hellgast and Vecta and all those different things like that all could be reworked to be very timely and modern. And a game, I won't spoil it, but a game that felt very timely and modern where I was like, wow, was 007, which I platinumed last night. That would be platinum 211, I want to say. 212, something like that. Let's see. Where? Oh my God, we have a lot of them to get through here. We're going to be here forever. Let's see. The Groove 14 says, so with reports coming out that Xbox is closing Compulsion Games, what other Xbox studios should be concerned? Double Fine, Turn 10, Ninja Theory? Ninja Theory is probably fine, you would assume, because they announced the game and it's coming out next year. That surprises me a little bit, but a lot of people say that, Ninja Theory, of course, made Heavenly Sword. I have a lot of respect for Ninja Theory. They're a very different studio now, ever since probably Enslaved, and then, of course, DMC, but Since then, I think they've been doing something with more fidelity, but they apparently have a pretty robust motion capture setup and knowledge of using it. So they probably have some augmenting powers, as it were, amongst the Xbox first-party studios that makes them valuable. It's very similar to Guerrilla with Decima. We're like the holder of the keys to something very important. So I don't think they're in trouble. Turn 10's already been gutted. They barely exist anymore, as I understand. That studio is basically just engineering now. They made Forza Tech and all that stuff, I think. So that's probably what they're doing now. Double Fine, I don't know. Like, Double Fine's a problem because Double Fine is located in San Francisco. So one of the most expensive places in the world to have a studio. They make games that don't sell. That's kind of always been true. What's the last game they had that was like a massive commercial hit for them? Like Costume Quest did well for them back in the day. Obviously Psychonauts. But it just feels like, but they're kind of in that position of like, it's kind of like Media Molecule. They're much better than Media Molecule in my opinion, especially in modern day, but you kind of have this creative, weird studio. They kind of win awards. They got respect. People in the industry like them. It would be kind of a bad look to get rid of them. I don't know if I'm concerned about them either. I mean, Tim Schafer's a legendary person, but I don't think the Double Fine, that 2018 sequence of acquisitions that were announced at E3 that year, and I remember learning about those early. I knew someone that knew, and he told me the names of the studios, and I remember he told me Ninja Theory, and I'm like, Team, and I in my mind I remember being like Team Ninja, like thinking it was Team Ninja, and I'm like, what? So like Ninja Gaiden, he's like, what the fuck are you talking about? Ninja Theory. I'm like, oh, okay. So they announced all those studios, and I'm like, this is kind of nonsensical. The one studio that they got there that I think really worked out for them is Obsidian. And I know that Obsidian games don't sell extraordinarily well, but they're good, and at least they're making things. A lot of these other teams don't release anything. And of course, I have a real soft spot for Pentiment as well, which I think is just super good. Super, super good. So other studios that should be concerned, I mean, Compulsion was obviously the low-hanging fruit. I don't think there's any other super low-hanging fruit after that in Xbox Game Studios. I suppose, like, actually, I had notes written here from the last show. Hold on a sec. They're in here somewhere. Where I was wondering what studios would make sense for them. Where the fuck are those notes? I don't know. Maybe you go to Activision. I mean, this is the thing is, like, Beanox is still there, right? High Moon, like these support studios. I just think like getting rid of them, you don't want to interrupt Call of Duty, but you could say like, we could just export this work to China or whatever, some East Asian country, and do it a lot cheaper. So maybe you look at them. I think Bethesda has nowhere to go. GTA Man says Arcane is rumored to be shutting down. I mean, that's crazy. Microsoft's just been a poor steward of these teams. I mean, that's obvious. And that's because it's what I said at the time. They have very little creativity at that company. They don't know what they're doing with creative efforts. It's not even really an insult because they're good at so many other things. It's just they're not a creative company. And buying I feel bad that so many people cheerled their expansion when they had no. And think about all of the options they had. Like in some way, I am so grateful they bought who they bought because I don't really give a shit about Activision, and I don't really give a shit about Bethesda. I mean, I like id and Machine Games. I'll always be customers of those studios. But I could give a fuck less about any of their other stuff. So it's like they kind of bought and fucked with and fucked up in a way. Oh, I got a text. John Pork is trying to help us. In Stream Ninja, did you click the link to open the chats? Where? Are you coming? Yeah, I don't know. Sorry, I interrupted my entire thing. So, like, Bethesda is such a strong unit now of teams that it's like, where would you go there? Activision, you don't really want to fuck. Like, Blizzard's doing well. There's a bunch of stuff there that can go. I don't know what you do. It could be that you cut headcount at certain places. Here's the thing: is that Xbox doesn't need this wealth of games anymore because Game Pass is obviously not working and it's not going to grow. So the idea was that you would, hey, are you gonna do the
So, do you see this?
streaming? Yeah. Maybe I should clear the sources and try again. Let's try that. Sorry, guys. Just give me a sec. Maybe we can actually fix this. YouTube video. Mm-hmm. Page source. Okay. It pops something. Oh, wait. Is this it? No, this is. Super chats, isn't it? Oh.
Yeah.
It's not connected though, right?
I know, but that's what.
Okay. Well, do you want to keep working on? Okay. Sorry. So I guess it really doesn't matter, but we want to make it good for you guys as we can. So anyway, we'll see what happens with Xbox, but I just think they're overextended, and they made bets that I think tried to change the trajectory of their business, but now they are bought into this model that they don't really need to be in anymore. And even if they were to become a true third-party publisher, and they're going to become a true third-party publisher if they're not already, you don't really want to fuck around with these smaller games because they didn't exist for you to sell them a la carte anyway. They existed as parts of buttresses of your expanding Game Pass offerings, which are no longer needed. So the studios that make the smaller games really have no purpose anymore. And by the way, this is what I feel like PlayStation should do as well. I keep saying this is like PlayStation really doesn't need to make small games. It would be stupid of them to continue to do so. And really, you should just be working on marquee AAA games. And Sony could cut down its studio family to 8 or 10 studios, and I think that would be totally fine to like focus on those things. Then you go to second parties for all the other stuff. And then if one of the second party relationships works out, then you have the option, if both sides are interested, to buy that team if you want. But I think Xbox is going to have major adjustments. I think the bigger thing, though, is that people think that any of the moves they're making are going to fix the trajectory of the brand. And I have some bad news for you. Just letting you know. Like, I don't know. Like, there are literally people out there that think that, like, this thing is going to turn around. They believe it. And I'm like, it's not. I'm just letting you know. It's not going to turn around. So it'll become something different, and it can become something very successful in its own right. But the hardware thing is about finished, I would say. And Gears isn't going to change the trajectory of it. Clockwork, no disrespect to that game because I think it looks awesome, is obviously not going to change the trajectory of it. The thing that bothered me, I think, a little bit, I was talking about this on the show, actually, was like the whole idea that they can't make enough consoles to sell. It's like, now I was fair and said what I think he was trying to say was, in so many words, was it's not really worth it for us to drive too hard right now because we don't have the consoles to sell should demand increase. But demand's not going to increase very much. I just can't believe there are so many people that believe this shit. To what end? And then they'll respond and be like, well, Sony did this, and I'm like, just save it, dude. You don't know me or listen to me at all. If you like, just save it. I'm sick of hearing it. It's a brand in significant distress, and people can blame it on Phil Spencer and the decisions he made, but I think the decisions he made were the only thing keeping this thing going to begin with. And I don't mean from a hardware perspective, I mean going third party. Does Microsoft have any like really vibrant hardware lines, and have they ever? I think the answer is no. And by the way, I say that as I use a literal Microsoft laptop, like a Windows branded laptop, and I love it. I think it's awesome. So I have no problem with the company. I just think as a gaming entity, they are cooked. And if they want to lean into being a third party, they can do that. But it's so funny because like everything they have that matters were things that they bought. They didn't nurture anything. So like I don't know that they have like Halo wasn't theirs, Gears wasn't theirs. Obviously anything Bethesda does wasn't theirs. Anything Activision does wasn't theirs. So it's like, and then you have all these other like one-off things. Like they have a shadow of the former Obsidian and all this other stuff. It's like you're just not good enough to be able to nurture these teams. And they were supposed to feed Game Pass. You, as I said, and I think it's important, you can't hide where you thought Game Pass was going to be versus where it was because your numbers leaked and your projections leaked during the FTC thing. So we know you're like 2.5 times behind where you thought you were going to be with Game Pass. That's a huge problem. And it's just like, I don't know. I think they get a lot of like leeway and respect from people where they don't really deserve it. Like what have they done that like makes you, it's just gotten worse and worse and worse. And they've spent more and more and more and more and more money. And that's what I was saying earlier was like, thank God they like went after, because we know based on Matt Booty's leaked emails, they were looking at everyone. Like, and if you could name a team and they wanted to buy it, name a publisher and they wanted to buy it. And they didn't get any of the ones that mattered to me. So it's like, and I don't mean that from like cutting me off from access, which would have been a bummer, obviously, but just ruining them. It's like imagine a Microsoft that bought Capcom. It's like, oh my God, imagine how fucked up the Capcom would be right now. Instead of Capcom, which is what they are, they'd be Cap don't. I don't know. I have no idea. KQM says, what are your thoughts on the new IGN logo? Personally, not a fan. I have no idea what you're talking about. Let's look it up. There's a new IGN logo. I mean, I looked new IGN logo up and I see no one talking about it. Oh, I see what you're saying. All right, let's do this. I don't even know if you can see it because of the way we put the page. It's up there at the top, but I don't think we can do anything to show it. Let me see if I can find something that lets us look. Oh my God, it's cut off and I don't know how to fix that. Yeah, I don't know. It's not a permanent logo. It's the 30th anniversary logo, it looks like, and it's fine. Yeah, I can't. I mean, I can show you what I'm looking at here just so you can see, but like it's cut off at the top, so you can't really see the logo. But yeah, it's their 30th anniversary logo. It's just so funny how much the site has changed. Like I know this is. Let me be completely fair and honest. I worked at IGN for 12 years. So we changed the way the website looked multiple times while I was there. And every time we changed it, I was like, this is fucking awful. And I remember when we got rid of frames, and I was like aghast by that. Remember frames? Web 1.0, the best. I loved frame navigation. It never looked right, but this kind of looks like there's no identifying mark for it. It just doesn't look like IGN anymore. And I think a major reason is that no one really goes to IGN anymore. And I don't mean that as an insult. People still read it. They're just getting it via other feeds and stuff like that. So this just looks like something you made in WordPress. Like it's a bummer. But this is the way a lot of websites look these days. I don't really know exactly why. Cyanide asked, did they just unionize? I have no idea. I couldn't. I have no problem with private sector unions at all. It doesn't bother me at all. The bigger question is you're kind of not in a position to be pulling workforce leverage. You're not making anything that is like incredibly useful. I'm always a little surprised by people being like pushy with labor when like you are in a losing position, but to each their own, I guess. I always wonder, like when I hear about the union agitation, like that agitation, that never happened. Like that was never even talked about the entire time I was at IGN. It's hard for me to even imagine what an IGN that is talking about unionizing looks like and how much fun that would have been to fuck with from internally in terms of, I don't mean fuck with like in a bad way. I mean like to be like, no, I don't want to do that. Like I'm not participating in that. I can negotiate my own salary and I can negotiate my own stuff. I don't really need you guys to work on my behalf. I've done okay by myself. All right, let's see. Big Pile of Puke says, finally watched Furiosa and loved it like Fury Road. Hemsworth performance was intoxicating and Anya is a doll. Made me want to play the 2015 game. You should play the 2015 game. I never saw the second new Mad Max, but I did see the first one when it was in theaters and I was amazed by it. I thought it was awesome. It was a mesmerizing movie. Oh, okay. In OBS, okay. We have a message here. Okay, in OBS, where you brought up the Super Chat window, you should be able to right-click the Super Chat item. Where you brought up the Super Chat window, right? You should be able to right-click. You add properties. I don't know what the fuck this means. Micah, you can come do it if you want. Oh.
Where did you had that super...
This thing here?
Okay, yeah.
That was just here.
Okay, so...
Chat message? Should I...
Property?
Yeah,
So
that...
it should be the new...
Refresh. Interact. I don't know. We did, but I just did something wrong, I think. Okay. Not a big deal. Thank you, babe. Anyway, play Avalanche's 2015 Mad Max game. I thought it was really great. Came out September 1st, 2015. I remember that because it's the same day that Metal Gear Solid 5 came out. King of the Wicker People wrote in and said, have you tried the Onimusha demo? I thought it was fun, but seeing what carried over from Oni 1 and how much flashier the game will be, I haven't. I have no interest in playing it. I'll play it when the game comes out. I don't want to see any more from it. But I did hear that it was incredibly easy and that people were complaining about that. And I'm pretty sure they released like some sort of apology or acknowledgement video being like, we understand that it's too easy. We gave you powers from later in the game to let you fuck around. It's going to be much harder when it comes out. Kind of cool. Very excited about that game. Very, very excited. Gamer Chat Podcast gave us €5, but with no message. I think that's a thank you for your donation message. Dwayne says, what were some of your go-to songs in Rock Band 2? That's a good... I can't differentiate between all the Rock Band like song rosters, so let me see. Actually, we can do this together. Rock Band 2 song roster. List of songs in Rock Band 2. Let's see. Wait a minute. So Wayne, I want... Oh, okay, this isn't that many. So let's see. What year was Rock Band 2? 2008. Yes, this was... Pearl Jam's Alive was definitely one. Journey. Come Out and Play. I mean, I love playing that on the real drums. Down with the Sickness. That's a good one. There's a lot of good... Yeah, Eye of the Tiger. I'm trying to remember... God, there are a lot of good ones here, man. I have such fond memories of playing Rock Band. It was and Guitar Hero and all that stuff. It was, it was, I was like the perfect age for that because it was like late college and then into my full-time days at IGN. And we were all so friendly with each other and so social. It was such a unique group of people. IGN from 2005 to 2015 or so is like iconic in my mind. And everyone was so friendly. And so we used to always, we would go drinking and go partying, and then we would end up at people's houses, usually Nate Ahern's house in The Haight in San Francisco. He had a lot of space, and he had like a big like projector screen, and we would play Rock Band there until all hours, and it was so great. And it was like a slice in time kind of thing. Like people aren't really into those games anymore. They obviously tried to revive them, 10 years ago or so, and it wasn't really working. It was just such a unique time, and I'm really grateful to have experienced those games when they came out because it felt so fresh. Let's Eat Good says, "Hey Colin, thanks for reading this. Thank you for reading. Thank you for writing. And even though you didn't write in at the $5 level, I'm still going to read it because you didn't really require anything of me." Jingjun wrote in, and you can't make me say that over and over again. Colin, oh wait, didn't you already ask this? What team are you supporting in the World Cup? Italy, also Spurs and 9. What are you talking about? You're wasting your money. You're wasting your money. You're wasting your time. Goes into my pocket though, so I don't mind. Caffeinated DC wrote in with some Imperial credits. I think this is Indian. Let's see. How much is this in USD? Nope. Too little. Gabe August wrote in, "Love it." But he says, "Thank you for your donation." The Assassin AK wrote in and said, "Colin, if you plan on replaying GTA 5 before 6, then July might be the best window before the floodgates open in August. I recently replayed the PS5 version, and it's much better than the PS3 version." Yeah, I think I am. Do you want to manage my time? Is that what you're trying to say? You want to schedule my time? Like, I'm just like, go ahead and fucking pencil me in. Pencil me in. What's the big deal? It's not your life. I have been thinking about that though. So I have to get through. I want to platinum. The only trophy I'm missing in Pragmata is the hard playthrough, so I'll do that. And we are going to do a Pragmata spoiler cast and review discussion after all. So prepare for that. Take notes for that. 007's already in the can, and I wasn't a part of that, so that's done. Saros is done. I downloaded and started playing Lego Batman last night, but I played it very briefly, and I'm like, no, I'll get into this later. So got to take notes for that. And then I got to get back to Mina, and then there really is nothing coming out until I guess Halo. I'll play, and that's in July, and that will be fairly straightforward. And then Beast of Reincarnation is probably the next game, and I think that's August. So there should be plenty of time to get into some of these other games, but I got to figure out like exactly what I want to do because I do want to replay GTA 5. I never beat GTA 5 when it came to PS3. And I never played the PS4 or PS5 versions at all. So it'd be cool to go back and do that. However, I never beat Alan Wake 2, and I want to replay Control before Control Resonant, and I don't know exactly how this is all going to work. I think if I can manage my time fairly cogently, I should be able to do everything, but I don't know. The bigger disappointment for me is I was really, really hoping against hope. It's obviously not going to happen. I don't think. It's just like, where's the GTA 4 port? That's the one that's special to me in my heart. GTA Vice City is probably my favorite one, but 4 is like really fucking good, and it's a bummer that it's not available. Tom Begeman says, "Hey Colin, I'm 26 and I lost my mom on June 2nd. I'm very sorry to hear this. The past 2 weeks have been the hardest of my life. I just wanted to say thank you as LSM has brought me some comfort during this horrible time." I'm sorry, man. I mean, just awful. I'm a mama's boy through and through, and my mom's getting old. She's 75. She's okay. I mean, she's not in the greatest health. I don't like thinking about the mortality of one's mother, and I couldn't imagine the pain, and I'm so sorry. It's awful. I'm glad to be here. I'm glad we can be here to distract you and make you laugh. And that's what I think grieving is all about in a way, is being in space. And by the way, like I've said this before, and I knock on wood, I mean, it's going to happen eventually, or maybe I'll die first. I don't know. But it's like, I've been pretty immune to loss in my adult life. Like I lost my grandfather when I was, a kid, and people have died in my life. And I've been saying, sad. I've told the story about how my hockey coach died when I was in high school, and I took that really hard, that kind of stuff. But like parents, siblings, uncles, aunts, like everything's kind of in place right now. And so I don't want to speak too out of turn. That's why I say that. But I feel like grieving is about being in the space of grief and then finding the pockets of normalcy. I always think about this. When I was a kid and like something bad would happen and I'd be really upset, and then like you'd lose yourself to a movie and you would realize, and you'd be right back to it when the movie was done, but you realize that like you lost like 90 minutes. You didn't even think about what was happening. And then I think you start stitching those things together, wherein the pain always exists. Like my dad always, or my mom always says, she always still thinks about her parents and wishes she can talk to them and stuff. And I believe that. But I don't think it goes away. I think you learn how to deal with it. And then normalcy kind of creeps back in. And as best it can. But I don't know that you ever, I can't imagine like it ever being quite the same, Locke says loss changes you forever. You become a different person. Yeah, I believe it. You have to learn how to operate. And it's difficult. I really feel for you, and I'm sorry. KQM 2010 wrote in and said, like, watching someone set up their VCR, this is comedy gold. Thank you. I'm glad to entertain you. That's why I'm here. I'm here to entertain. I'm just a fucking clown. Let me put on my clown makeup. You guys can just, he's so entertaining. He's so interesting. No one says that. No one says, he's so interesting. Death Shoot 1 wrote in. It said, Remedy's musical levels, Ashtray Maze, Herald of Darkness, are corny, quirk chungus millennial entertainment. Are we ready for another in Resident? We'll see. You know how that Sam Lake does. Let him do what he's going to do. And we'll see what happens. I'm very excited about Control Resident. I am not, I will be honest that like on one hand, I really like that they changed it up completely, and it explains why the game has taken so long. On the other hand, I just really liked Control 1 as well. This is kind of one of those Saros Returnal things. Although we'll see. Obviously, one's really a sequel and one's spiritually a sequel. But what I'm most interested in with Remedy, because I love Remedy. Alan Wake was so extraordinary. And Control is an extraordinary game. It's like they don't have the attention that they deserve. I think they're so much better than their finances and their game sales say. And I know that their new charge with their new CEO is a guy from EA, which scares people, and maybe reasonably so. But his whole thing is like, no, like there's so much more juice to squeeze here. Like we're not where we need to be in terms of like the things we already do. And I agree with that. They should be bigger. They are a truly special video game studio, in my opinion, doing truly special, unique video games. And they're obviously they're going back to Max Payne and stuff, so they should have some financial leeway to survive a little bit, Jade X70 says, is it just me, or does the Xbox news feel like an actual adult is finally in the room making decisions instead of the sky is falling like everyone is saying? Yeah, I mean, I think they do have an adult in the room. I think Asha's, I've said it a million times, I don't think she's an Xbox lifer. I think she's a mercenary executive. There are many of those in all industries that go around and they go from company to company or from part of company to part of company, and they stay for a few years and they fix things and they move on and they learn. I think she's a bit transient in that regard. And I think it's probably fairly important at this juncture for Xbox to get outside influence on their market position and the choices they've made, because they've made a lot of insular gamey choices. It's not worked, obviously. If you have two fucking eyeballs, you would realize that. And not you, of course, but the normal person out there. And I don't have a problem with like the leadership. I have the new leadership. I have no problem with the decisions they made or anything like that. I just think that like it's too little, too late. I think they're selling. I feel bad for Xbox fans because it feels to me like they're getting sold a false bill of sale where it's like we're going to turn this thing around. Like there's going to be you keep investing here, keep buying games here. Like it's going to get better, and I'm like it's not. I hate to be the bearer of bad news. But I just don't think it's going to get better. And people say like, well, what about PlayStation? I'm like, yeah, what about PlayStation? I mean, they have a lot of problems too. They're different, very different problems than Xbox has, but they're problems. And in a way, they're a lot more existential to PlayStation and a lot more existential to Sony because Sony is so reliant on PlayStation. Xbox could disappear tomorrow. Microsoft wouldn't give a shit. And that's why I think they're talking about spinning it off and stuff. And a lot of people are making much ado about that. PlayStation is a subsidiary of Sony. It's like people are making this thing of like, oh, it's going to be a subsidiary. And I'm like, well, that's no different than Sony's operated Sony Interactive. The bigger thing is that it makes them more pliable to bring in, like, I'll tell you right now, if they bring in outside, like investment into Xbox, I would imagine that's the end of the hardware. You know, Sony's big problem is a better problem to have, but it's not a good problem, which is like, I don't think people really want the PS6. Like, I believe that. I think there's going to be enthusiasts and there'll be millions of us that will buy it, but mass market kind of thing, I think people are happy with PS5, and I think a lot of people are even happy with PS4, and it's going to be difficult to get people moving into the new console. And I think Sony's big problem is they're going to be managing like 2.5 or 3 consoles at once. And I say 2.5 because they really are trying to shut the PS4 down, but I don't think they're going to be able to be that successful in doing it ultimately. Like, I think we'll still get PS4 games for years. I don't think they're going to be big games. I told you guys that I talked to someone that I know that works, you know, in the big Call of Duty apparatus, and he was saying like that they're not happy about walking off. You would think they'd be happy to move on, but they're not. They want to keep making the PS4 versions because they need to sell games. And there's a lot of people, tens of millions of people, still playing on that generation of consoles. So yeah, like Sony's got big problems too, and I think the unfortunate reality for them there's 2 things. Is like Sony has utilized all of its of what I've called political capital. Basically, the idea that they can get away with certain things with their audience because they do things so well or they're so good at X, Y, or Z. I think that's all gone now. So that's a big problem. And I think number 2 is that they have ascendant competition outside of the traditional sphere that's going to infringe on them. Because I always love when people are like, well, why don't you want Sony to have competition? And I'm like, Sony does have competition, a lot of it. Microsoft's not that competition, not anymore. Steam is that competition, and Nintendo is that competition. Xbox doesn't have to be involved in the competition, or there's no competition. It doesn't even make any sense. There's a major competition going on for the hearts and minds of gamers in a trifecta of Steam, Nintendo, and Sony, who are fighting for the lion's share of traditional gamers. And so I just think Sony has big fish to fry. I think that I really don't believe that Sony is very concerned about Microsoft at this point. And I think people ask like, well, why do they still invest in third-party exclusives yet? It's like, well, because obviously they want to kill them. I mean, that's fairly obvious. Why not put them away? They're in a weak position. You just keep piling on, and they won't be able to do it for much longer. So yeah, that's kind of where my mind is on this. But so I think that there is an adult in the room with Xbox. There's no doubt. I also think the sky is falling. They've given us so much data, like more data and more information about their brand in the last 10 days than that we've gotten in years and years. 8 or 9 consecutive months of falling Game Pass, millions of lost subscribers, a console that doesn't sell. It probably sells in the low hundreds of thousands of units or something globally a quarter at this point, which is awful. And studios that are just not, they put out games. Some of the games are great. Ironically, the games that are great that people really like, they mismanage or just simply aren't big enough or good enough. So like Pentiment or Hi-Fi Rush, things like that. And they've not been able to really make anything meaningful in the AAA space outside of Forza Horizon in a long time. It's like not even really a viable competition in that regard anymore. Anyone can go around and buy things and like add them to their repertoire, and that works, and that's fine. But as we've seen, even with the numbers, that's not worked very well either. I will give them credit and say, Bethesda's pretty bad and mismanaged now, but they were bad and mismanaged before Xbox bought them too. They were deeply distressed at that time. And so like Bethesda seeming at a weak point is not a huge surprise. The Activision stuff, on the other hand, is interesting just because I feel like they overpaid so obviously for that brand, and all that comes along with it, because it's not like a lump sum payment that you pay and then like it's like you absorb all the good stuff. It's like, no, you have to take this company that was running, mild margins, and now it's your responsibility to run it. It's exactly what Sony learned with Bungie the hard way, and that's the big thing I think with Sony too. That's a problem for them is the M&A train. Like I think they probably would still invest in M&A if they felt like it made sense, but it is my hope that they learned their lesson, that like actually there was a reason why they traditionally expanded the way they did when they chose to, and that when they tried to do it and fast track it, it blew up in their faces. It is hopefully a very expensive lesson learned for them. That's going to be in the many billions of dollars of losses for Sony, which is a substantial amount of money for a company of their size, and that they're still running a profit and they can take these impairments by the hundreds of millions of dollars a quarter and still be doing fine. All that says to you is like you could have been in such a stronger position, and that to me is the biggest bummer. So Sony's out of political capital, for lack of a better term. Let's call it consumer capital, but that's a bad term because consumer capital is money. But you understand what I'm saying. Just give us a minute. We'll get there. This will be better. It's like no one believes that anymore. And that's a problem. I also think, and I never even really got into this too much. Sony's got a perception problem, and it's bad, I think. The way, like, the question is, where does perception meet reality? I think a great game to gauge this on is Wolverine, about how Wolverine sells and Wolverine's well received. It's very popular online. People like it, but there's a lot of, this looks a little trite. I've expected more. Look at the character models. Sick of the Marvel stuff. There's a tension developing at the foundation of Sony first party games. Same thing with God of War, Lawfare, whatever the fuck it's called. Where it's like, Intergalactic, can you win? Will you always have to ignore an increasing furor around your games that maybe developed around The Last of Us Part 2, but has certainly reached a greater crescendo now? Is there a game that you could show that could throw off the shackles of people's perceptions? I think Astrobot was one of those games, but it's just not that big of a deal. Astrobot's big to us, but it sold a few million copies. It's not and it won Game of the Year. I mean, it's a huge deal, but it's what I say about Helldivers even, where it's like, this is great. It's a great success. It's not what they want. You got to have more than that. And we are in an era where we talked about on Sacred recently, like Project Big, which was Naughty Dog's. That was what Uncharted was called when it was being developed early on. That was like 2005. They got the game out by late 2007. The sequel 2009. The third one by 2011. Right. So Uncharted was kind of self-contained. We got a fourth one. We got expansions, whatever. But like it was a self-contained thing, and they were able to act. They were able to iterate. They were able to make a lot of money and able to move on. But in that gap of time now, it will take you to maybe even longer than that to spool up a single game. And that leaves you with a little room for financial error. And I think even more importantly, it leaves you little room for creative error. It's why it's going to be so tough for Sucker Punch to move off of Ghost, which is what I hope they do, because it's like, well, we have these two great games, and they're awesome. And I thought Yote was great, like surprisingly so. It felt fresh. It was fun to play. Cool story. Love the character. And it sold about 5 million copies. It's a good. I think it did well. I don't think it's an extraordinary success by any stretch of the imagination, considering the install base of PS5 and so on and so forth. But also I think that the even player behavior has changed since Tsushima came out in 2020. But they look at that and they say, they look at it and they say like, well, we've invested all this time. We understand how this works now. It would be such a shame to throw it away. What's funny is that 007 is an interesting example, obviously outside the PlayStation ecosystem, where a studio was able to segue what they knew into something that made the most sense for them. And what we ended up getting was a Bond game that felt a lot like Hitman, but it worked. And it was awesome. And maybe you find clever shit to segue your skill base. It's why it sounds so lofty and unusual to say like, well, Guerrilla could make another Killzone game. And it's like, well, they could, but how really? You have to kind of go back to scratch as opposed to like, well, we're already in this third person action mold, even if we don't want to do more Horizon, which they're going to obviously do more Horizon, but like, you know what I mean? So I just think there's all of these issues that are compounding and getting people stuck and decision makers paralyzed by indecision surrounding Sony's superpower in the first party, in my opinion, which was knowing when to say this is over now. And trust us, we're going to get something else going. You can't kind of have it both ways. I think this is why I was so disappointed with the word. It was weeks before we saw the new God of War game, but like where it was like, oh, they're doing another God of War game. And we've kind of known that we're going to stick with God of War, but it's like, no, this is the game they're doing. It's not like some other thing. And we had this in our imagination, Santa Monica using their skill and their energy and their money and all of that to do something new. And it's like, absolutely not. We're not doing something new. And that's kind of, it sucks. I hate it. Now, it's easy for me to say that about God of War because I really don't care about God of War that much. I think that, you know, God of War games are good. I'm not like in love with them at all. I could do without them. And I would much rather see Santa Monica do something new. So we are definitely stuck between a rock and a hard place. Lena wrote in again. He says, Asha Sharma, if you can hear me, please save me. Asha Sharma. She won't save you. She won't. Robert Rivera wrote in and said, what are your thoughts on Tim Dog's parasocial connections to Xbox leadership? It's wild that Xbox execs interact with these guys. I don't really know anything about this person. I muted him a long time ago because it's just, he's annoying to me. He doesn't even, I don't think, say anything to me. He's always popping up. Twitter, what I've noticed about Twitter the last year or so is that if you search for one thing or look for something or like click on someone's name, they just show, it's like, oh, that's all you want, right? And I'm like, no, I'm just looking up something. That's not all I want. I want other things too. So I realized like all of these like things are popping up in these people and I've just been muting more. And just being like, I can't, because like as I recall with that particular guy, and it's like, no offense, it's like, it sounds like you don't even understand the English language the way you write. Like, I can't believe you write like this. And so it's not even about people listening to anyone. It's like, you listen to this? This sounds like he's speaking in tongues. So it's like, yeah, listen to your fans, I guess. But like this? Tripe? It's like, what the fuck is this? It's like a cat typed it on a keyboard. So I don't really have, I know that guy's name, but I don't have any opinion on him. I mean, it's all just one amorphous, like, fart noise of people, in my opinion. Like, that just, it's just great. Like, it's so funny to me that they are always so aggressive. Like, whenever you say anything, it's like, oh, you're worried now. It's like, oh, the salt is real. You're worried now. And I'm like, yeah, man, any minute, it's going to turn around any minute now. Any minute. Any minute. Yep, any minute now. It's going to be different than it's been the last, let me look at the clock here. The last 13 years. Any moment now. It's going to be different. And Xbox is going to win. Just you wait. Marky Mark says, I'm convinced that internet theory is real and it's 80% bots. I don't think it's 80%, but it's fairly substantial. You see echoes of it all the time. I don't even really see it in games. You see it more in politics where you're like, these 5 people all said the same exact thing. Like it is obviously being driven in some way by that. I agree. I don't think it's 80% though. But anyway, yeah, JD says this is the year of the Xbox. This is it. 2026 Gears of War E-Day. Xbox is going to fly off the shelf. The whole brand is going to revive and rise like a phoenix from the ashes. And it's going to dominate the industry. Just you wait and see. Just wait. Trust me, I am. William Planus wrote in and said, what are your 3 favorite games of this decade so far? I don't even know, man. First, we have to identify what a decade is. Or we know what it is, but when does it start? Now, people don't like this. This is going to blow some of your minds. But since there was no... I want you to follow with me on this one. You ready? Because it's not that complicated. There was no year 0, correct? Correct. So AD started when? Theoretically, January 1st, 1 was the first year in AD, right? Therefore, 2020 is not part of the 2020s. This is relevant because The Last of Us Part 2 came out in 2020. But it would not count as a game of the 2020s. It is actually a game of the 20-teens. Just like 1990, and here's what you're going to, it's really going to blow your mind. Okay? Is that 1990 is the last year of the 80s. Isn't that interesting? So we're working on, because if what I said isn't true, okay, Colin, you're crazy. It's not true. Then which decade do you want to identify as the decade with 9 years? Because there has to be a decade with 9 years. One of the decades in the past has to be a decade with 9 years. So you make your choice. Or it can be totally clean and we can all agree, right? We can all agree that this decade began January 1st, 2021. And so that's when we will begin. But unfortunately, I gave you all that runway just to tell you, I don't know. I just wanted to bombard you with my opinions about the calendar. How do you feel about that? I fucking bait and switched you, didn't I? And the funny thing is that there's nothing you can do about it. What are you going to do? What are you going to do? You're not going to do anything. This all goes back to the famous Seinfeld episode of when Kramer's planning a party for New Year's 99 in the 2000, but Jerry reminds him, since there was no year 0, the millennium doesn't begin until 2001. Dummy. 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 The new manium. That's exactly right, Hollow Point. King United says, why isn't there a year 0? I don't know. But the calendar goes from, again, and I'm using December, January. These things didn't exist at that time. But it begins at, you can go back and date things that way, though. And there's like a, what do they call it? Incalations or something like that, where they're like their entire weeks missing because the calendar got all fucked up. I think like in the 1500s, there are like 2 weeks in October that don't exist. But it goes from December 31st, 1 BC to January 1st, 1 AD. There is no... I didn't make the rules. I don't make the rules. I didn't institute the Gregorian calendar. The Julian calendar and all this shit. Like, it's not me. I didn't do it. So you got to get mad at someone else. It is a classic example of shooting the messenger. Also, I'm pretty sure they say Jesus was born in like 4, right? Which is the funniest part. It was like 4 to 33 or something like that. Devte says, isn't there a theory that the church erased like 300 years or something? Yes, it's called the phantom time hypothesis. And I did a whole video on it back in like 2017, maybe. You can go check it out. 4 BC, that's what it was, Jericho. Yeah, so he 4 BC to 30, I guess it would be. Then he would be 33. Help me, Donald Trump. IR Glitch says, have you heard of the weird, obscure rules about leap year? It's not technically every 4 years. Yes. Is that every 100 years, there is no leap year except for the 400th year. I think that was 2000. So there's a leap year every 4 years, but when you get to the 100th year, there is no leap year except for every 400 years. And that keeps things all tight because the day or the year is 365 point, what is it, 25 technically? I mean, it's way longer than that, but approximately. Jared Morales wrote in and said, already on track to being the most unhinged stream since Randy. That's what I'm talking about. I'm feeling myself right now. And really, I'm just trying to put off mowing the lawn. That's all this is about. I'm making money and entertaining people by avoiding mowing my own lawn. Because I don't want to go out there, man. It's so fucking hot. And why go out there when I have 2-zone central AC? Now, I know Pork Poncho's got air conditioning, but for a lot of other Europeans out there, that's blowing your mind right now. I love the air conditioning discourse. It's one of my favorite things. You can't avoid it. Rico Seattle says, Colin, you forgot to choose your games. No, you didn't. As I explicitly said to you, I have no idea. I have no clue what like, let me think. Like maybe like, well, no, Cyberpunk, I didn't play it until 2022, but that came out in 2020 as well. That would be a game of the 20 teens. I don't know. I really don't. And in that time, by the way, I probably played like what, 200 games or something? Maybe something like Death Stranding 2 was really good. Loved that. Final Fantasy VII Remake came out in 2020, so that's not going to count. I don't want to fall prey to recency bias either. I mean, I guess you want to go over my You know what? Fine. You guys want to fucking answer? You want me to answer it? Fine. 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 Okay. Okay. Let's do this. All right. These are my trophies. Let's get a pen. A little ambient noise for you. There we go. A little environmental storytelling. See here. All right. 3 of the decade. I mean, I would put Returnal down as one of them. Like, you know, and these are just options right now. We're just doing options. I mean, Requiem was great. Again, I'm just writing games that strike me as, like, excellent. I'm going to write Chronos down. That's not going to be it, but we'll see. Yeah, Death Stranding 2. Let's see what else. We're only in the middle of 2025. We're going to be here for a little while. Expedition 33, no, not for me. The Last of Us Part 2 remastered, that would be a little bit of a corny cop-out, wouldn't it? Can't put my own games on the list, right? Kunitsugami. Yes. Yes, we will write you down as well. I'm going to write Metaphor down. It's not going to make it, but I'm just going to show it a little bit of respect. Deluxe says, count 2020, you coward. I can't. You don't understand. I didn't make the rules. I didn't make them. Julius Caesar, I think, did it. And they got him good. Pentiment, yes. That might very well make it. Seriously, out there, if you've not played Pentiment, get your fucking life together. Get it together. Colin was a teenager at 20 years old. Beefy Ravioli, you see, you think you're being cute. You think you're being cute, but there was a year zero for me. Because I was born at one day, not 1 year and 1 day. See? See? We got to go back. You understand what I'm saying? See, you think you're being cute. You think you're being clever. You think you're being smart. You think you're being intelligent. But you're none of those things. Because when I came out of Betty Ann Moriarty on October 14th, 1984 in Port Jefferson, Long Island, I was but a minute old. Not 1 year and 1 minute old. You see? And so on your first birthday, when does your first birthday happen? When you're one. After you were on the earth for 12 months? You're getting me upset now. Now I'm getting upset. What else? Rebirth. I love Rebirth. I'm going to put it down. I don't think it's going to make it. It just feels like all one game. Let's see. Mortals of Avium. I'm going to write it down just to bother you. What do you think of that? I wrote it down. It's right here. Immortals. You get what you get. Oh, of course. Of course. Of course. Final Fantasy 16 is on the list. Of course it is. I will get the Stellar Blade Plat when the next Stellar Blade comes out. I'll go back and replay it and I'll get it then. I always have a... Listen. There's a method to the madness. You understand? There's a method to it. I know what I'm doing. I have full capacity of my faculties. Go back to the list. Horizon Forbidden West. Don't mind if I do. See, now we're talking. Now we're cooking. God, Dead Space Remake. Does it count? Does it count? Dead Space Remake, I'm putting it down, but I don't know if it counts. Doki Doki Literature Club. Now, this is a problem because I'm pretty sure. Let's see. Yeah, Doki Doki Literature Club came out in 2017. We didn't play it on console until 2021, but I just can't in good conscience count it. I think that would actually be on the list for sure. Doki Doki is fucking awesome. If you've not played this game, I'm not even trying to troll you or like be like, oh, play this game. You're gonna. This game is extraordinary. Extraordinary. One of the most unique games I've ever played in my life. Far Cry 6. Don't mind if I do. Let's see. I mean, we're pretty much through. I mean, Ratchet would be in here, I guess. Yeah. And now, all right, so now we're at 2020, and so it's over. All right. So let's see here. I've written down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 games. Returnal, Requiem, Chronos, Death Stranding 2, Kanutsugami, Metaphor, Pentiment, Rebirth, Immortals of Avium, Final Fantasy 16, Forbidden West, Dead Space Remake, and Far Cry 6. All right, so I think we can get rid of some. Like, I'll get rid of Requiem, Chronos, Rebirth, Immortals, Dead Space. 3, 4, 5, 6, Metaphor. I'm going to do something like Final Fantasy 16, Pentiment, God. You're going to hate it. All right, I'm going to say the best games of the decade so far. The decade, of course, beginning in 2021, when a decade would begin. Final Fantasy 16. Check. Pentiment. Check. Horizon Forbidden West. Check. Thank you for playing. Let's see. Gamer Chat Pod says, dude, check the scene sources, double click the browser in question, and should be there. No. So basically what we do is we use this thing called Social Stream Ninja. And you connect it, you put a URL into it. What is this? No. Okay. You put your URL in, and then it pops this thing out, and you're supposed to be able to like, oh, wait a minute. What is this? I just like opened something. I don't even know what this is. Okay. So yeah, anyway, it's like a third party thing. And what's funny is that I had it working. Like that was the thing that I understood. I think I fucked something up in the OBS. Like I think I just have to view. Like, do I have... Oh, wait a minute. Is this it? I don't think this is it either. I got the chat up. Hey, Micah. She might be working out. We're slowly getting to where we need to be. We're slowly figuring it out. Okay. The best 3 games of the decade so far: Final Fantasy 16, Pentiment, and Horizon Forbidden West. The King of... Oh, wait, no, that wasn't... Who said that? What's going on? Wait, did you delete your message? Oh, no, here it is. Geek in Geek Out says, what's going on? Someone needs to rein Colin in. Who? Who's going to do it? No, it's not. Swaney says, is this a personal list? No, the definitive list of best games of the decade are Final Fantasy 16, Pentiment, and Horizon Forbidden West. It's not personal. It is what it is. Let's see here. Dwayne wrote in and said, this is why AI will replace the elderly. I'm not there yet. I'm only 41. Give me a little bit of time, but I'm looking forward to having computers and robots take care of me. It'll be wonderful. Paul 67 DV says, Unk crashing out FR. Is that for real? For real, for real. Roku Terra says, absolute dig shit list? You're going to talk smack, you got to spell. You got to get your spelling right. It's not, I don't make the rule. This is the thing, is I don't make the rules either. For us to be able to communicate, we all have to be able to read each other's writing. Chris Hendricks wrote in and said, years pass in my life, and now I don't know what's going on. That's it. Colin will be out of a job as soon as you figure it out. I don't know what that means. Years pass in my life, and now I don't know what's going on. That's it. Oh, that's what I said earlier, right? When I was going off on one of my many rants. I think, did you mean Dustin will be out of a job as soon as you figure it out? Why would I be out of a job if I figured it out? Chris Hendricks also wrote in and said, this is what expertly controlled spirally looks like. Everyone, office hours sure turned into a diatribe real fast. Feels like my days in college. 100%. I don't, Chris, we have to be more concise with our write-ins. We must speak better English. We must get the message through more cogently so that we are communicating on the same level. He says, dude, my English is bad. I appreciate that, Chris, and I love you. You're a very nice man. Appreciate you. But we got to get you. What was that thing when we grew up with Muzzy? You know, and you'd see the commercials for it, and the little monster would teach you languages. We're going to get you that for English. For the King's English. Justin Pruitt wrote in and said, Dustin should have left you a cheat sheet with every step for every problem, like a clerk at a store for their replacement. He did leave me a thing, and it got me there, but like there were a couple of things I realized that were missing, and I don't know why. Like we went over everything, and he showed me everything like remotely. Then on Friday, so that was on Tuesday. On Friday, we sat down and did it all again. And then yesterday, I did it all by myself. So somewhere along the line, the one thing is that like things are constructed a certain way. It's like when you use Premiere and like the windows are in a certain place or whatever. And I think I might have moved or done something. I don't know what I did. But I feel like this is going so much better than I had thought it was going to go from a technical perspective. From a like content perspective, this is awful. This is some of the worst shit you've ever seen in your life. But from a technical perspective, I thought it was going to be just as bad. But it actually ended up, I figured it out. Kind of. I mean, like I figured it out a little bit. Like we got the browser going. That's a very exciting, it's a very exciting moment for me to get the browser going. Hey, 1426 says, just start eating really loudly like Jaffe and get so high it becomes unwatchable. That's how you do a stream. What is with the people eating on stream? It's gross. I don't want to hear you fucking eating. I hate hearing people eating. It's disgusting. I hate it. Stop. I don't want to hear you swallowing your fucking liquids. I don't want to hear you chewing your food. I don't want to fucking see or hear any of it. Leave me out of it. Leave me out of it. And leave me alone. All you guys are doing is, all you do is bother me. I'm so fucking tired of it. It's always something with you people. Pork Poncho wrote in. Said, you're doing a great job. Cannot wait for more chaos as the weeks go on and the complexity of these streams progresses. Come on, England. You want me to come on, England? Bunch of perverts over there. Your wish is my command, of course. Thank you, Pork. I appreciate that. I do believe things will get better. I believe the streams will become better, and we might not ever need Dustin back at all, which I think he would be thrilled about. Let's be honest. Dustin doesn't really want to work too much, right? He wants to work a little bit. You don't want him to, he doesn't want to work too much. So if we can extract him from this so he can just appear every once in a while, he'd probably prefer that, because I think I have him at his very limit. Fabu Brick wrote in and said, fire Dustin. We were not going to fire. It would be a bad time to fire him. You could also read your hashtag fired Dustin as well. What is this? We have a DKK 45. This is another fictional Star Wars. Let's see here. I will have you know that 45 DKK is $6.98. Here you go. $6.98. And therefore, we're going to read it. He says, I'm not even supposed to be here today. Seinfeld reference. Thank you for writing in. Daddy T wrote in and said, if Colin can figure out how to stream on his own, maybe, just maybe, lads, he can figure out Tommy was the sniper. You feel better? Does it feel good? Does it feel good to be mean to me? Oh, I'm not supposed to be here today as Clerks. You're right, not Seinfeld. Are you feeling good about what you're doing to my heart and to my soul when you pick on me? Because it hurts my feelings. And I don't like it very much. Mako Mike wrote in, said, why are you gay? Also, who would the alternate Sacred Symbols co-host be? No Mystic or Radic and no current Last Stand peeps. So the alternate Sacred Symbols can be the people that would be the alternate Sacred Symbols. Can't talk about them. Who the fuck else would it be then? The alternate Sacred Symbols is Mystic Ryan, Radic, and Sandeep Rai. That's the shadow. Like when Elaine goes and finds her other friends and she has just other George, we already have a George. Very similar to what you're asking here. Chet Snooze wrote in and said, have you seen how much the Destiny community has been going after Sony to try to bring back their beloved game? Tom Christie's He-Man videos portray I don't know what the fuck that means. I have seen that. We talked a little bit about it on Sacred. It's like Sony could make a decision to say, like, all right, we'll do it. We'll do a Destiny 3. I just think it's so dangerous at this point. The bigger thing was, why didn't they why wasn't it spooled up like when they bought the team? Like I guess I'm just so curious, like, what was going on there that they felt like they needed to buy them. It's so fucking weird. I'm so angry about the Bungie acquisition. What a waste. What a complete waste. It's so funny that they came in with these big ass balls too, being like, we're not part of PlayStation Studios. We're going to continue to make every game of ours for every platform. And we're going to go around and tell everyone at Sony how to make online games. It's like, yeah, all right, go fuck off, losers. WR Disbond? I don't know. Took you 5 seconds of solo streaming to start crashing the fuck out. It did. It's only going to get worse from here. Scrubbing Bubbles wrote in and said, this is giving Colin and Greg live vibes minus the Greg. Yeah, it feels a little bit like those days. Those heady days. All right. Human Missile Crisis. I like that. wrote in and said, "Look at you doing the stream all by yourself. I'm proud of you. Godspeed, good sir. Thank you. You're so see, people can be nice to me too, but they often aren't very nice to me. I feel like I'm just your punching bag. Yeah, just say whatever you want. Just do whatever you want at all times. Who gives a fuck about me? My feelings. Just me." Paul to the Wall wrote in, said the entire episode of Sacred Streaming is just an hours-long sizzle reel of Colin clips for the next Lockmort edit. Well, that'll be fun. I wonder what Lockmort will do and when we might get that video. We don't want to put a hard schedule on it since we all know how that works. Gus6736 wrote in and said, will you have kids? You think you're capable of taking care of a baby human and put aside of all of your manias, obsessive tendencies? Do you even want to? Could I? I mean, yeah, I could definitely do that. I mean, you would have to do that. What else am I going to do? I don't know. I think we're up in the air on that. I am not necessarily married to the idea of having children, no. I've kind of vacillated. We've had conversations. Mike is not really into it either. I have no problem. I mean, I think it's awesome people have kids. I mean, it's obviously necessary, but it's also great. It's great to have families and do your thing, and that's awesome. But I don't really want to interrupt my life. I know people are like, oh, it's what you do, and it's because it's your greatest joy. And I'm like, yeah, all right. Mike and I were kidding around about how I'm pretty sure like half of parenting discourse is them trying to get you to feel as miserable as they do, if I'm being honest with you. Just going to throw that out there as just an honest kind of thing. Like, yeah, sacrificing your life, it's great. Never doing what you want to do ever again, it's awesome. Now, to be fair, I've lived a good 41-year life, like far longer without children than most people ever would. Like, I've extracted a lot out of life, and I don't really do anything. Like, I hang out. I'm always puttering around the yard. I like fertilizing my plants, you know, mowing the lawn, trimming bushes, sweeping the garage, you know, changing the AC filters. It's like, whatever, you know, it'll be fine. The son of, yeah, I think that's what it says. Cheers, Colin. Will you still play E-Day on Xbox? No, please. If they want to sell me games, they know where to find me. Evan2150 says, have we ever gotten a tour of your G.I. Joe collection? No, mostly because most of it's not put out. As you see, the shelf has just been in stasis for years. Most of my stuff is with Kenny Kopnick now, my friend, who owns a toy store, who's like kind of going through all of it, and then we have a whole deal going. I'm eager to have it all set up so I can give it away to my non-existent children. Let's see. It's Towers wrote in and said, bring out the olives. Oh God, I love this. Do we have to watch that as well? I'll bring that up. That's a fucking classic.
Mary, you won't let go of me. Oh, yeah. Bring out the olive.
Ooh, that's a stone cold classic. Love it. We are having some fun. All right. Wait, what is this? Okay. Do you want to see the longer olive clip? Some of you need context. Maybe I'll get a longer one for you. Maury Howick olive. Okay.
What's the matter?
I don't want no olives.
What?
I don't want no olives near me.
There are no olives here. There are no olives here. Olives?
Please, no door.
All right, wait a second. Let me ask you something. My God, you're holding onto my hand and you're going to pull it off. Sally, black olives or green olives? Any kind?
Here.
Doesn't matter. Okay. Why olives?
Because they remind me of dead people.
Why do they remind you of dead?
My grandfather sat up in his coffin and looked at me when he died.
And so he looked up at you when he died?
With green eyes.
With green eyes?
With a black in them.
How old were you when this happened? 7. And you really believe that your grandfather came right up out of his coffin and he had green eyes? And ever since then, you've been scared of olives? Do you eat olives?
No, I can't eat
You eat olives? Dude, Moriarty is just a fucking
Can't
best.
you go down the aisle of a department
What a
grocery
G.
store? Mary, you won't let go of me.
Oh, yeah.
Bring out the olives. Sally. Sally, I don't have anything.
We all just witnessed the worst day of that woman's life. You know what? Mike and I were watching last night. It was a classic. Oh, wait a minute. Dude, this literally just came up as the next video. Oh.
In Springfield, they're eating the dogs, the people that came in. They're eating the cats. They're eating the pets of the people that live there.
No, get those lights off. Off. Turn them off. They're too bright. Turn them off. Turn them off. Let's go. Ready? Turn off the lights. Turn.
Jesus Christ. Anyway, that was that woman's worst day of her life. I'm glad we were all able to watch that together. Let's see. Bogey Zero says, any plans to play Silk Song? It's peak Metroidvania. I have it. I bought it the day it came out, and I have it on my cross media bar. I just have not played it. Plans to? Yeah, I'll definitely play it at some point. I am not at all drawn to it. I'll be drawn to it when the time is right, but now is not. Bradley Britt wrote in. Thank you for your donation. Appreciate you. $99.99 from Any Revs 22. Appreciate that. It's very kind. It's unnecessary, but I appreciate that. Thank you. Says, shout out to our boys for the opening win. I'm a diehard, and that might be the best I've ever seen us play in a World Cup. I couldn't believe it. Our passing and movement was fast and decisive, and our commitment to tackling back was unbelievable. Great start, boys. Yeah, I was saying that. I'm not a soccer fan, or I like soccer, like I was saying earlier, but I'm not like an aficionado by any stretch of the imagination. But I was like, the U.S. is clearly a far superior team to who they were playing. What was that? Ecuador? Paraguay? Something like that. So we'll see how we do. I assume we'll get out of this group, and then we'll see how it goes. But I want us to win so bad. I know we can't. I know. I was actually looking at our odds. I think it's like, I don't know, 6,000 to 1 or something insane. Maybe not that high. But it would be so funny. Like, I just want it for that reason. Because I think it would be funny. Because the rest of the world cares so much. Like, they don't understand. If you're not in the United States, you don't understand how little people give a shit about soccer and the World Cup. We're a big country, so obviously there's going to be plenty of people. The stadiums are full, a lot of vibrancy at the bars and all that kind of stuff. It's cool. I was part of I never went to a game, but the bar scene during World Cup back in 2010, 2014, I used to go to the games in the bar, see the games in the bars, whatever. But it's like, it would be so funny because it would be like the fourth, if we won the World Cup, it would be like the fourth most important thing that happened that day in the United States. And for that reason, it's the only reason I want us to win. Like, we have to do it once. Because it would just be so funny. Because people are like on tenterhooks about this shit. Like, they give a shit. And everyone's like, yeah, whatever. No one cares. Congratulations to the boys, though. I'm rooting for you guys. We play Australia next, right? I think we're favored in that game, too. Bradley Britt wrote in and said, what are your thoughts on the gaming industry using AI in a constructive manner, speeding up coding, asset creation, et cetera, just as a tool for devs? I don't like it. Coding is different because I think there are solutions to coding that are mathematical and you find the code. I was saying this recently, I was talking about the NFL schedule recently and how a lot of people think it's unfair because of travel discrepancies and stuff. And I'm like, what's interesting about this is that there is an answer that would be like the most ideal schedule that would be fairest for everyone from all perspectives. And so that's something an AI could figure out. But when you're creating like actual assets, that's the thing I find so weird is like, oh, we just used it as kind of like inspiration to create things in places. So I'm like, you didn't like, that's what concept artists used to do. You don't use concept artists anymore. It's just a cop out. They're going to try to sell it to you however they can. And I've said before, I don't think anyone's really going to give a shit. There will be people that care, but most people won't. They didn't care about Expedition 33 and their use of AI. I find it more funny. I think the Tomb Raider remake, and I think Crazy Taxi, they're like, yeah, we used it as kind of like inspiration. I'm like, you're remaking a game that exists. Like, what do you need inspiration? Crazy Taxi was made in 1998. Tomb Raider's from 1996. What do you need inspiration for? Exactly. You're remaking something. The people did the hard work for you already. You just make it prettier now. The Uncharted Wolf wrote in and said, near the end of Rebirth, and I really am starting to feel the slow pacing. I'm loving the game, but it's hard not to miss the immaculate pacing of the OG. I understand. It is a very long, drawn-out game, but I really, really liked it. Really, you get whatever you put into it. You know? Holy shit, we have a lot of fucking super chats. Because the super chat thing scrolls and then so it doesn't incorporate new super chats, but then when you get to the bottom, it starts to incorporate them and then the bar just goes back up. Let's see. Puckish Rogue wrote in and said, hey, Colin, it's my birthday. Can I get a shout out? Happy birthday. You gave me money on your birthday. I mean, that's kind of fucked up. Happy birthday to you. You know what? If you're on Patreon, you can DM me. And I'll send you a copy of a code for Saint Slayer for your birthday. How's that? £0.5 bonus in your pay bucket. How do you like that? Trent Miller wrote in and said, Colin streaming by himself and not cleaning G.I. Joes. It's been a while since I've done that. That was back when I was still living at my mom's when I was waiting for this very house to be built. Zanfair2734 wrote in and said, did you ever meet any of the members of Last Stand before starting Last Stand? Yes. I knew Chris in person before we started recording together. I knew Dustin in person and Ben in person. Dagan is my brother, so I know him. I'm trying to think of who I've not met. I've never met I've met everyone in person. I met Maddie beforehand because he was on Fireside Chats. I only met Cog after we started working together. Gene, I only met at my wedding in person. Locke, obviously we've never met. I've never met Barry from Lilimo. So the internet's funny like that. Start an Infection says, wouldn't first parties benefit from granting developers independence? They'll still get the 30% cut, but not have to provide financial support. I mean, it's a matter of if you exclusives from first parties are not always to just make money. They're to make you want to make money, and you often make really good money on those games, but you want to have an environment in which people are attracted to your console or your ecosystem. If you don't have those, then you could have no exclusives. And there is questions on how important exclusives are today. They're important. People always look at Nintendo and look how important they are for Nintendo. And I'm like, absolutely, they're important for Nintendo because without the exclusives, there would be nothing to play. It's not that way on PlayStation and Xbox and PC. Well, PC doesn't really have a first party. Steam's kind of a first party, I guess. So it's a little bit different. Nintendo must have a first party lineup because they rely on it. Sony doesn't really rely on theirs. Obviously, the money, they've been making more and more money year over year, and they've been making less and less money from their first parties. I mean, you have to it's kind of like Moneyball. Have you ever read that book or seen the movie? Where it's like, you have to see through things to like the deeper metrics that exist rather than just like, is this game good? Is this game big? Are these guys talented? Like there's actually data that will guide you if you're willing to find it. Yeah, anyway. Let's see. Josh Caldwell wrote in and said, Colin, can we shout out my oldest son, Solomon? I think you'd be proud of him. He's a teen, but he's not into games like Fortnite. He's also getting into the games industry. He and I are huge fans. I love to hear that. Shout out to you, Solomon. I wonder what his discipline would be. What does he want to do? Also, good on you for avoiding Fortnite. I'm not so offended by Fortnite because I think I've never played it, but it objectively looks fun. It looks good. People like it. They care a lot about it. It runs well. It's got this robust set of features and options and all the rest. It's Roblox that really offends me. Roblox is the one that really, really offends me because it fucking sucks. Is that clear enough for you? Solomon, good on you. Good luck to you. The games industry is dog eat dog, but we need young, vibrant, hungry, intelligent, creative people to make games. We will always need that. And I wish you the very best. Are you making a game now? You should already get going. Ben Frog wrote in and said, this feels like an entire season of a conversation with Colin. Thank you as I am trying not to die laughing at my insurance job. Oh, that's wonderful. Sure, people are always having a good laugh when they're talking to you on the phone. And you're trying to tell them why your policy doesn't cover that. I saw this video. You'll appreciate this, Ben Truck. I saw this video a month ago, maybe. And it was like this video that was going around of this woman saying that her house was like destroyed in some sort of like natural disaster. So she went and like tried to get her insurance going. And they like talked or whatever, and then she realized that like she couldn't rebuild her house for the amount that her insurance covered because she'd never like had updated her policy, like inflation and the cost of goods and all the rest have changed. And so I got really paranoid about that, and I talked to my insurance people about it, and they told me that there's like something attached to my insurance policy, like where it just goes up, like it just actually increases automatically, so I don't have to worry about that. I appreciate that. And I must say, I haven't had great experiences with a lot of people about the house and building people and the trades. I think a lot of people are shisty and weird in this space, but I like my insurance people. They're very nice and honest people. They respond to emails really quickly, and they never try to upsell me. I've tried to buy different policies, like, oh, do I need this, like, flood insurance or something like that? And like, you really don't. We appreciate your business, but like, you don't have to worry about X, Y, or Z. And I respect the fuck out of that. I really do. Brad Ellis Superfan says, oh, it's a Colin stream. I'll come back when a main event Brad is on. That's not very nice. I mean, it's nice for Brad. It's not very nice to me. Like, why do you always have to hurt my feelings? Craigaful says, chaos and no control a day without Dustin. It's going to be more like a couple months without Dustin. I mean, we're going to see how we can do here. But I think this has been a good first attempt. It's fine. I think the chat thing is the only thing I'm disappointed about. Everything else is working swimmingly. Oh, I got an email from my marijuana dispensary asking me how my recent experience was. Don't worry about it. Chief Adam wrote in and said, do you think Microsoft should replace Todd Howard as the head of Bethesda? Honestly, their output has been so piss poor and slow, I think new leadership is needed. 17 years between the Elder Scrolls 5 and 6 is unacceptable. I agree. I mean, Matty has a theory that like he kind of wants to leave and that he still has a lot in him, and it would be cool to be untethered from Bethesda and see what he can do 1 or 2 more games before he retires. I don't think Todd Howard gets removed. I think maybe he gets fed up. They've obviously been deeply mismanaged at Bethesda Game Studios. Starfield is a fucking dud. I said this, listen, to each their own. There are plenty of games I like that a lot of people don't like. Gravitate towards whatever you want to gravitate towards, pardon the pun, because we're talking about Starfield. But that game was fucking... I was like, holy Christ, this is what you guys made? And then this is the state it's in after 3 years of it being out? Like, there is some... What do the kids say? Cope around that game? I'm like, damn, dude. This is rough. This is fucking rough. And I should have just listened to everyone. Because I was like, oh, maybe it's not as bad as everyone's saying it is. Maybe it's better than, and it's like, no, it's fucking boring. Holy mother of Christ, is that game boring? I couldn't take it. Couldn't take it. So yeah, spending all your time on that and all the, it's like, yeah, and Fallout 76, although I really still feel like Bethesda is not really doing that themselves. I mean, there's a lot of external factors to that and support for that. But yeah, all that time, I don't mind there being a long time between Elder Scrolls games. It's just insane how long it's been. It doesn't ever need to be that long. And it's such a mismanagement of, it's just such a mismanagement of resources and assets. It's like the Fallout 3 remaster or New Vegas or anything. It's like, it's unthinkable that this shit is like still like, what are you doing? Like, just why isn't this stuff already out? Like, what are you doing with your IP? I do appreciate them trying to do something new with Starfield. It's just not good. And so I don't think they're going to be able to do something new for a long time. If ever. I mean, when you consider how long games to take to make now, it's like, when are they ever going to do something else that's not Elder Scrolls or Fallout ever again? So anyway. Starfield is a cool idea and premise and on paper. It's just not good. Like I can't get over how fucking old and boring and slow. It's like loading screen after loading screen after jump here and go here. Oh, you don't have enough fuel to jump there. You got to jump to a star system's closer. Then you jump to that star system. Then you go into the menu and you go into your ship. Then you go into your ship and you choose where you want to go on the ground. Then you go into the ground and you walk there and you talk to someone. It's like, oh my fucking God. Holy shit. It's like it gets worse the more I think about it. Retro Dad wrote in and said, I was a big Xbox guy, but over the last year or so, I play almost all single player games on PS5. I still long for the 360 days. Love Platinum trophies. Platinum trophies are wonderful. I do wonder, there's been so many, it's been years, I mean, over a long time, since Platinums really came out in 2008, of this idea that Xbox would copy the Platinum trophy idea, and yet they never have. Diamond achievements, whatever they were going to call, like people, Crystal achievement, whatever they say they were going to do. It would be cool to do that. But I will say, to be fair and honest, because when achievements came out, I just didn't give a shit about achievements at all. It didn't speak to me. But in hindsight, like having the number and it just going up, it's such brain rot shit. Of course, that's interesting. Like the trophies and getting more trophies and the different kinds of trophies and your level, like that's cool. It's more like an RPG. It's a little more obscure. But like just watching the number go up and up and up and up and up. Large Hog Gamer says, but Colin, they named it Xbox in all caps now. I should save them. I gotta say, I don't get that. I think it looks so much better, capital X, lowercase box. I don't get that at all. Project Aries wrote in and said, Colin, help me summon the energy of inspiration in the universe for Konami and Square Enix to make a 2D HD Castlevania JRPG.
Donald Trump, if you can hear us, please, Donald Trump, please save me. Please save me, Donald Trump, please. I'm asking you. Please save me. Please save me. Please get these people away from me. In dear God's name, please stop these people.
Thank you for writing him. Eli Q3 wrote in and said, hi, Colin. I know you really enjoyed Persona 4. What was your aversion of playing Persona 5? Do you have any curiosity about the remakes in 6? Yeah, I'm curious. I loved Persona 4. As the story goes, for people that don't know, is that like I got almost to the very end and I blew one of the trophies and I was like, I'm not beating it. I got through the twist. I think I'm in the final dungeon. I'm like, I don't want to do it. And I'm a little embarrassed that I didn't see the twist coming. I'm like, oh, of course. But it was a really, really compelling game. Loved the soundtrack. I love the day-to-day lifestyle kind of thing. I think the gameplay and the dungeons are the most boring part of the game. It's actually very generic in my opinion, but it's fine. So no, I am interested in Persona 3, and I'm interested in Persona 5, and I'll be interested in Persona 6. What I'm most fascinated about is this idea, and I think people realize that these kind of had leaked through merch listings is that they will go back to Persona 1 and Persona 2. Because I'm most curious about those, especially Persona Revelations or whatever. Because I always said when I was a young person in high school and during the PS1 era, I was a big JRPG guy, and I bought almost every JRPG, and I just never bought that. I didn't care about that game for some reason. I don't know why. I was like, I don't want to give a fuck about this stupid game about high school. But it didn't end up, I just ended up becoming a fan. I even have a sealed copy of Persona 4 on PS2 that I never opened from a long time ago. So I am confident I will get to all the Persona games. I am interested in the Persona remakes. The thing is, I know that there's like the Royal version, the remake of Persona 3, a remake of Persona 4, etc. It's like, I kind of want to play the original versions of them, but then it's like, why? Because when I enjoyed Persona 4, I played the golden version, which is an updated version of it. So I got to kind of choose what I want to do and what direction I want to go. JRPGs were so attractive to me as a kid because I had time to burn. They were also not as big. Like, I remember when I played Dragon Warrior 7, and I always joke around about how that game just wouldn't end. And even in that era, I was like, this is insane. And even by that era's standards, like that game was insanely long. It's insanely long now by modern standards. But generally, role-playing games were that long. It's like, as an adult with things to do, and I want to play a different variety of games, and I'm attracted to a lot of different kinds of games. It's hard to play role-playing games. It's like, okay, I sit down and play Persona 5 Royal. What is that, 100 hours of my life? I mean, I don't mind spending 100 hours with a game, but what is that at what cost? Is an opportunity cost. That's what I was saying about my time this summer. I really want to play some of the GTA games. I want to familiarize myself with the Remedies universe and all the rest. It's tough. It's tough. Cyanide wrote in and said, with GTA 6 clusterfucking up our fall and winter schedule, how do you choose the order in which you'll grind through releases? I don't know. I haven't even started to really think about it yet because there are choices that have to be made. Some of them can be circumvented in September specifically. What is this fucking bullshit? I hate getting these texts like these. Hey Colin, I'm Alex with Virginia Neighbor Network. We pay folks $250+ to have conversations with friends and family about what's going on in Virginia, on things like cost of living, property taxes, and holding elected officials accountable. You set your own hours, work from your phone, and get paid per task. Interested? Let me know and I'll sign you up for training. There aren't enough dicks in the world to suck when it comes to that text message. Thank you for writing in. Back to the question. September is really going to be a tough time. I think like Onimusha, Control, like there's a few things in there where I'm like, something's got to give. I don't know what it's going to do. And then and things are going to get pushed back. I think October kind of clears up for me. I know there's games for others in October. But I don't know. I don't know how that's all going to work out. Like I said, it begins with Beast and Reincarnation, which is in August. And then you're going to start slowly getting into these games. I don't know, man. I don't know how it's going to go. It's going to be rough. I mean, in a good way. It's going to be busy for us, which is good. And then, I've been thinking about the business. Last Stand turns 10 next year in March. Sacred turns 8 this July, next month. And I wonder, like, I don't know. I just wonder, like, where, how everything's going to line up with next year in terms of the excitement around the new consoles, new games. I feel like things are kind of in a drab time right now. And Grand Theft Auto and all the releases this fall are going to start getting it going, getting the skids going or whatever. But next year, I think it's going to be a really vibrant time for games, and it'll be an interesting time to kind of content create. And that's going to be a bigger problem for my schedule, I think, than even the games. Because I don't even start playing, like sometimes I'll play games during the day, but I really don't usually. I only play games after dinner, and we eat dinner at 8. So I'll start playing games 8:30, 9:30 through the night. And that's really my prime time. I don't know how interrupted that will be from my work schedule, but we'll see. Cyborg wrote in, and Cyborg1011 said, Colin, your Saint Slayer guide says 15 hours to plat, but you did it in under 5. How can this be? Also, my wife is becoming an LSM. One more female listener. Do you mean LSM fan? Or is she actually becoming Last Stand Media. Because that would be a little scary. It's a little supernatural, and I don't really like that. First of all, glad to have her on board. Welcome. I can't write the Saint Slayer guide from my perspective. I have to write it from what I think the normal person will think. I mean, did I say it was 15 hours? Sounds about right. Let me see. Oh wow, there are other trophy. Like when you search for Saint Slayer trophy guide, my guide doesn't come up first. Pisses me off a little bit. I'm gonna be honest with you. So yeah, 15 hours. I think that's about right because you have to play through it 8 times. Because you have to beat the game all those times. There's kind of ways around it. I think I said in here that like I'm not relying. There are 2 philosophies of the trophy guides, right? Like you either write it like from the cheapest possible perspective of like, this is what you do to get the trophies. Your enjoyment of the game is irrelevant. I'm not really into those guides. Or you write it from like the perspective of someone who's playing it naturally and wants to organically think about trophies, but they don't want to ruin the game for themselves. And that's the perspective from which I wrote this trophy guide. But I'm glad I think people are finding it useful. It's good comments, I think. Let's see. Yeah. So anyway, I think 15 hours is about right for the normal person. But yeah, you're right. I platinumed it stem to stern on video in under 5 hours, but I know how to play the game. Geek In, Geek Out says, what would you have done if you didn't get your PSN account back? Would you have started a new account? If so, what 5 games would you have replayed? I will be honest with you. Like, so I've said this, like Sony was really, really good to me and responsive to me and very helpful to me. And I appreciate that. I feel bad for all of the people that don't have those connections, which is almost everyone else. And I want to continue to work hard to try to help those people if I can. I think I've already done a pretty good, job of getting Sony's attention. I do not think that I think it's fairly obvious that their anti-fraud job listings are not a coincidence that they put up last week. And I'm proud to be a person that helped drive to get them to make those hires. From my perspective, I don't think that's a coincidence. I've also talked to them extensively offline, and I think that like they care and they're trying and they want to learn more and they're doing as much as they can, and I'm really appreciative of them. In a different universe where I didn't get my account back, I must say that like it would be very difficult for me to ever spend another dollar in that ecosystem. And I mean, it would have been a bummer. I would have been incredibly sad. I probably would have tapped out of playing games for a while, to be honest, because I would have needed to recover. Because that's a lot. But I think I probably just would have moved to Steam at that point. I'm not going to listen, like we live in the universe where they were incredibly helpful, incredibly responsive. I got my account back in like record time. They conceivably locked it down and did everything, and they were great. And I appreciate that. So we don't live in that world, but I couldn't imagine living in a world where they treated the customer badly and I was going to spend money there anymore. So that would have been something I would have had to deal with. But I think the only option at that point was to move to Steam. And maybe like open my mind to Nintendo again. But I'm what's so funny is that people are like, oh, you're so obsessed with your trophies and you're so like moving on and all these things. And I'm like, I don't think you understand that, like, because a lot of you didn't know me then. I was a personality at that point. I was just much smaller and I was doing other things. But it's like, I was a fucking huge Nintendo fanboy my whole life. And walking away from Nintendo was way more difficult than you could have possibly imagined. And I really kind of hold that brand in my heart a lot closer than I do the PlayStation brand, because it's the reason I play video games. So if I could walk away from Nintendo, which I did, I could walk away from other things too. I wouldn't want to do that. And we are not in that position. But I want to continue to press them if I can, because I emailed with them recently and I'm like, I don't want to be annoying. I want to give this grace. I want to give you guys space. You have other things to deal with. You know, I'm dealing with, you know, a good friend of mine in PR primarily, who's like a high, like a VP level person there. And she's been incredibly kind. She's a great person. But I emailed her. I'm like, I understand you have other shit. Like, you have so much to worry about. Like, this is not, you gave me time to talk to you. You listened to me. You took notes. You ran it up the flagpole with me. And I appreciate all that. You don't want to be too annoying. But I do want to have I want to have like one more conversation with them, because I think the one hanging thread for me is, can I help other people who have lost their accounts? I got my help. I'm fine. It would be easy enough for me to walk away at this point, but it feels so wrong and disingenuous for me to do that without trying to say, like, can we do something for these other people? Can we set up a system? Can we even just have an email address people can reach out to? Can these people talk to a real person? Like, that's, and I'm not trying to suggest someone in a call center overseas is not a real person, but for our purposes, like, we need someone at PlayStation to help, right? That helped me. You know, someone in, like, I talked to someone like that, most people like that when I got my account back and they did all that, like someone who had direct access to everything and did everything for me. And I appreciate that so much. So, like, can we start a process to get some of these people help? And that's what I really want. Beefy Ravioli says, did you send them their cheese plates? I didn't. He's saying, like, I wanted to send them something nice, like a bouquet or baskets of fruit or whatever. But then I realized, like, a lot of them they work mostly from home. So I don't know everyone's schedules. Like, they all come into the office like on certain days and stuff, but I don't even, so like you send in a flower and it's just all wilted and dead. It's too tough. And so that's where my mind's at, is like, Sony was incredibly helpful. They are clearly making hires to try to solve the problems behind the scenes. They listened to me and treated me with respect, and everything's fine for me now. And I appreciate that. But yeah, the last remaining step is, can I leverage this to at least reunite some people with their accounts? Because the thing that bums me out, and it's really hard to think about it this way because it's so sad, is like, a person is robbed of their account. So they're a victim of a crime. You might not be able, it's done by some fucking overseas country you have no jurisdiction over. You can't really do much about that, but you're victimized by a crime. And then the people that can help you refuse to help you and tell you there's nothing they can do for you. I don't like that. To me, that feels wrong. That feels anti-consumer. And in an era of increasing digital dominance, people are going to need to have the expectation that they will have access to these accounts for many decades. I mean, that's the crazy thing. I think about my Facebook account. Like, my Facebook account is 23 years old. Actually, 22 years old. May 2024 or May 2004, I made it. It's like, that's ancient. My GameFAQs account is from the late 90s. Right? Like, these things, but these are unimportant things. Things that have digital goods attached to them that you spent a lot of money on, that you have all this stuff in. Like, you have to have the confidence, to buy in and stay there. And if something happens and goes awry with those accounts, you need to be able to unify those people with their accounts again. It's not as simple as saying, like, oh, you lost your login, try again. It's like, no, man, not like you destroyed that person's entire presence on the platform. You have to understand that. And that's what I'm trying to impress, like on other people. Mike Held the World says, I don't think you can truly call yourself a video game expert if you don't play on PC and or play on one platform. You learn so much about video games just by playing on PC, graphics, mods, etc. I want to say this as kindly as I can. I probably know more about video games in my little finger than you do. And that's a good example of PC people being really annoying. Thank you for writing it. Let's see. What Darren plays says Compulsion and Arcane set to close. So the Arcane stuff's been confirmed? Is that what it... Because that's so crazy. If that's true, that's wild. Arcane. What are you guys doing? There's no more... There's no more... It's just bone. You're long since penetrated the armor and through the flesh. Marco Bruno wrote in and said, Colin, can you fathom being a star athlete and giving up $100 million on your contract so the team can build a winner around you? I love sports, man. No, to be perfectly honest with you. This is what I always... There are professional athletes that play to win, and then there are professional athletes that play for money. And at that level, it would be incredibly difficult for me to give a flying fuck about winning compared to the money that I'm making. And I don't blame anyone for taking that road. Those that are able to put that away, like Aaron Rodgers did that when he came to the Jets, and he's on the Steelers now and doing that, probably taking a little less money than he could. Tom Brady did that forever to build a winner, and it works. And you win, and that has its back end monetary benefits for you too. You make a little bit of money when you win, but you have new opportunities. Your team's better. You're attracting better jersey sales and better ticket sales, and you're playing better and you're on a better team. So you're getting more receptions. And so your next contract is higher. I understand all of that, but like, to me, I wouldn't give anything back. It's like, no, I'm here for me primarily. I mean, that's why, like, I'm glad for Myles Garrett getting traded from the Browns, because he has a real chance, and he goes to a team of the caliber of the Rams because he has a real chance to win. And I think that's awesome. And I know that, that was really exciting for other players. That, why can't I think of the Raiders player who was traded to the Ravens? Why am I drawing a blank? But Max Crosby. Go to a winner, and it's exciting, but like, it's like, I'm like, I want to win. I want to play as hard as I can, you know, but money's good. All right. The Winking Samurai wrote in and said, back in the PS3 days, the big AAA genre was FPS. Do you think there will eventually be a similar paradigm shift away from third-person narrative games? I don't know. I like first-person games. I think first-person games can be incredibly immersive. Games like BioShock, and System Shock, and so on and so forth. We were talking about Arcane, you know. But at the same time, I think there's just more immersion generally in third person, and to tell a story, I just think it works better. More seamless transitions and so on and so forth. So I think it's just, I'm not even sure it's player behavior as much as it's the attractiveness of the games that then end up being good that attract the players. I'm excited about, what is that one? I have it in my notes. That one game that was at the Xbox showcase. Yeah, Magicians, The Devil's Deal. Magic shooter. Love that kind of stuff. So I would like, you know, more shooters and more first-person games as well, but I understand the move away from them, and I think a lot of it has to do with other things. Let's see. Death Metal in Your Face says, I'm so glad Xbox is going back to console exclusives because it deters complacency from competitors. I appreciate that perspective. I'll just say, like, the competitors to Xbox are not complacent, and they're not focused on them anymore. So it's cool. Like, I'm curious to see what happens. I just think I know what's going to happen. Gears E-Day is not going to change Xbox Series' trajectory. It's not going to move the needle. It's fine, but it's cool that they did that. I don't mind, but it's not going to change anything. And I feel really bad for Clockwork Revolution. And as I said on Sacred, just to reiterate, it is my sincere hope that Microsoft went to those studios at the Coalition and in Exile and were like, we know what we're about to do to you commercially, and we are going to make sure it's okay for you. We're not going to lay you guys off afterwards. We're going to make sure you guys get proper ship bonuses based on what your projections would have been on PlayStation 5, and we'll set milestones based on that as whatever and augment them so that we accommodate that because we are fucking you. You know, and that's the big thing that I think about, like, especially for Gears. That decision was made so late that retailers had like the final box art. They were putting listings up. Microsoft itself published materials with the PS5 logo in it. It's hysterical. And it's like that game exists. Like, I think I saw someone saying like that game exists on a drive somewhere. I'm like, yeah, of course it does. What's funny is that they spent many millions of dollars making it. It's not like a thing that just gets created. There were probably entire parts of their QA team were playing only the PlayStation version. A whole pipeline dedicated to producing that. It's not as quick as just like separating button prompts and all of that kind of stuff. So they are going all in with it, and that's cool. I just think we all know where it's going, and I hope that they know better than that, and that the studios don't suffer on the other end. And people say, like, well, what's the difference about, studios making games for PlayStation? And I'm like, none of the studios are making games for PlayStation were ever told their game was coming to Xbox while they were making it. That's the difference. Aaron wrote in and said, who let Gramps stream by himself? This is off the rails. Thank you. I guess I have that old person energy now. Maybe I always have. I'm getting a little gray in the beard. I don't know if it comes through. So I'm getting there. And I'm aging fast. I'll tell you that. Mentally, physically, spiritually, emotionally. Walking, Talking, Stephen Hawking wrote in and said, with all the crash outs and close calls we've witnessed today, maybe this episode should be titled Colin's Stream of Consciousness. That's basically what it's going to be. And we're doing a great job. Brandon Soto wrote in and said, we're really about to go through another generation of Xbox fanboys damage controlling, saying they should bring this game back or Xbox is back. It doesn't matter, man. Like, the whole thing with this is like, yeah, the people online are annoying and the discourse is annoying and we all feed into it sometimes, but like, you literally just have to wait. We all know where this is going, and all you have to do is wait. We don't want it to go in that position. I mean, it is what it is. As I said in my conversation with the Dukes, Xbox turning it around on a hardware front, I give in the mid-single percentage chance. So like 1 in 20. If you want to be generous, 1 in 15. If they lean all into their games, it's a totally different story for them, and I think they'll be okay. I'm just kind of fascinated by the stubbornness of not realizing at Microsoft what you are, which is a software company, and that you have on your hands a mega software outfit with Activision Blizzard King, with Bethesda, and with your own Xbox studios. Just go dominate software. That's what you've always done since the 70s. Since you were writing BASIC for fucking Altair computers, you were dominating software. It's not going to work for them in hardware, I don't think, too much. And there's too many. I think the Dukes agreed. I'm like, there are a series of poison pills that Xbox has to take, and you can't avoid the pills at the juncture. You have to take one. So I think there are like 3 or 4 junctures of poison pills. Okay, are you going to make a new console? Like, you're making new hardware, right? Is it a video game console? It's probably a dead end for you. So that's one poison pill. Then you move up the chain. All right, so you're going to make a PC. Is it a closed PC or an open PC? Both of those are poison pills. Open PC means people will buy games on Steam. Closed PC means your system's going to be a niche machine that no one's going to buy. And on and on and on. They have to take these pills. And no amount of furor on social media is going to change the reality, the financial reality for them, which is that Game Pass is not working. They don't sell games because they taught their user base to not buy them, and you can't blame their user base. Like, if you had a subscription that you were paying $22 a month for, why the fuck would you buy any of the games? You can't blame the consumer, but that's the reality. That makes it totally unattractive for third parties. Makes it easier and easier for them to skip you. It speaks for itself. You just have to wait. That fat white guy wrote, if the rumors are true, RIP and peace to the Blade game and Arcane Studios. Yeah, we'll see. We never saw the Blade game, right? They announced it. Do you remember, though, that when they announced it, I was all over that game being on PlayStation at the very moment that they announced it? Do you guys remember that? If you were watching with us at the time, if you were listeners? Because every game they showed during that showcase was like Xbox Series, Game Pass, whatever. But not Blade. So I feel like at that moment, that game was coming to PlayStation. You know, and that was before the 4 games and all the rest changed. Zeron21 says, thoughts on the fact that the calendar system is a fraud. September should have been July because September equals 7 and October equals 10. November, who gives a shit, and December equals 10. What? Thoughts on the fact that the calendar system is a fraud. September should have been July because sept equals 7. Oct is 8, isn't it? I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Thank you for writing in. Sam Rail wrote in, said, Colin, when are you watching Attack on Titan? You will not regret it. As I've said before, I watched the first season and I loved it. I watched it back when I still lived in California. Mike and I were we go for our nightly walks now because it's so fucking hot out. We have to wait until it's nighttime. So we were talking about that and I was like, yeah, I really got to get back to it because I really did enjoy it. I don't know. I don't really watch many things. I play a lot of games, you know, and dick around a lot. So I'm not really like a TV watcher. I watch a lot of sports. Rashad 5000I wrote in and said, hey, Colin, I'm interested in the Blood of Dawnwalker, but unsure about the 30-day timer. What's your take on dealing with it? As I understand, I haven't read too deeply about it, but I did see that they were saying that like there is no crush on doing everything in the game. That the 30 days has to do, I guess, with the progress of the main story. And so you can kind of linger. That's how I understand it. Because that would bother the fuck out of me, too. It would be kind of like a Persona style thing where it's like, well, you got to make choices. And I don't want to do that either. So I think that, yeah, Locke is saying, yeah, the 30 days are only the main mission. So, yeah, the side quests aren't timed. And so you should be able to do everything in it. It's not like Majora's Mask where there's like a time crunch as much as I think it's about the plot and like moving it forward. Matthew C wrote in and said, hey, dude, Colin, how are you doing, dude? Do you know what you're doing? Not really, no. I'm fine, though. Thank you for asking. Christopher Burnett wrote in and said, first time listening, just discovered your channel, longtime fan since your time at IGN. Do you think any of the other Halo games will come to PlayStation? Well, thank you. It's good to have you back in the fold after many years. They said they would. Now, I want to say that I think that this entire idea of like, we have to fulfill contractual obligations. And so, no, you don't. So you can buy it your way out of any of these contracts that you have. And by the way, there's no contractual obligation to bring Spyro and Senua to PlayStation. Like anyone who believes that is you're fucking, I have a bridge to sell you if you believe that for real. So their lack of inconsistency, I think, is frustrating because they're like, well, we want to fulfill the deals we made. And it's like, well, you did send your community manager out in a PlayStation shirt saying all future Halo games would be on PlayStation. So is that a promise? It seems like a lot more bigger of a promise than you pretending that you had some sort of contractual obligation to bring Senua to PS5. We all know that's not true. So people are talking about like, oh, you can't get out of these contracts. It's like, first of all, they just canceled Gears was so far in development on PS5 that, again, the retailers were expecting that they were going to sell pre-orders for them. They got out of that, didn't they? But you're telling me they couldn't cancel Fable if they didn't want to? I think they could. I don't think they want to because they know that's what's going to do to the game. So if you're able to see through the very thin facade of what they're doing, it's that they don't really have a plan. And I think them saying, so we're doing one exclusive this year. That's what they said. One exclusive this year and one exclusive next year. And it's like, okay, that's not going to change anything. Literally nothing. And by the way, if you wanted to change the trajectory more seriously, next year's game should be Fable, right? Not Clockwork Revolution. But you don't want to pull it because you can't. Not because you have contractual obligations not to, but because you have to sell those copies. That's why I think it's so funny when people are like, oh, they have obligations. I'm like, dude, Gears of War was just pulled off of PS5. It was rated. What are you talking about? The fuck are you talking about? Thank you for writing in. Monkey Cam? It says Cam. According to leaker Sneaker SO, Asha and Xbox are already in talks about how to reverse course on the exclusivity they announced at the Xbox showcase. I don't know about that. That Sneakers guy definitely is well connected. You can tell. I don't know who he is, but he's connected. He definitely knows things. And I know people were pointing out that he was wrong about like the turn back towards exclusivity, but that was such a late decision that why would he necessarily know about that? So he definitely has some knowledge of it, but I don't think they're turning back to it. I think these are sacrificial lambs. They're not going to work, and then they're going to be able to go and say like, well, they're probably going to lose money on Gears of War, and Clockwork was never going to sell well anyway. So like and again, I don't mean that as an insult to that game. I think that game looks dope. It's just not going to move the needle. Again, if they wanted to move the needle, they would take their games back that were the biggest, but they're not. And that's why I think like the whole Elder Scrolls exclusivity thing, I'm like, that would be fascinating if they did that. It's just, that's a major risk. And you'll sell a few million hardware units, sure, but most people will buy the game on PC or just assume to wait because you will bring the game to PlayStation. I also think that people saying that like Aaron Greenberg is lying and stuff, I think they're being a little harsh on that too, because because I know he said that the same stuff about Gears that he said about said the same stuff about Starfield that he said about Gears. But it's a little different in my opinion, just because it's true at the time. I know it's kind of like a hedge, but I think they mean it. Things change. Things change all the time. So I think they're going to lean on that. So I think they mean it when they say Gears isn't going to come to PS5. Whether or not that stands to be true is another thing entirely. And I would be surprised if there were more exclusives. There certainly won't be any more exclusives this year. They have no other games to announce this year. Next year, maybe they'll do more, but it's not going to change. And then you have to say, like, well, if Helix is truly a PC hybrid, then how are you ever going to do exclusives on it? People can just buy your games on Steam. That's so when people are saying like a Helix exclusive Elder Scrolls, I'm like, that just means a PC Elder Scrolls. You understand that? All right. Sevens 1992 said, totally random, but I wanted to suggest you should reach out to Tyler Esposito from My Retro Life for an SS Plus retro gaming discussion. I have never seen that guy's, like, I don't follow his YouTube channel, but I see this stuff pop up every once in a while on social media, and it's really interesting. Like, what a great font of footage to have. Such unique, like, I saw one where they like were playing with the Xbox the day it came out, and he's like getting off the bus and his dad's like setting it up. I'm like, this is super cool, you know. Really, really love that. Broger says, why not take games off of Steam a la Sony? If Xbox took their games off of Steam, they would be finished. That's why. And I do think that PS5 is being scapegoated a little bit, while like the big problem for Xbox's expansion is actually PC, not PlayStation. As long as you continue to put your games on PC, why would anyone buy an Xbox when they can just buy a PC and have all of your games and everything else? And this is something I think Sony learned. And I think Sony pulled away from PC not because they have a principled argument against it, but because they simply weren't extracting enough money out of it. They would have no problem selling their games everywhere if, like, even, you know, the experiments they had on Switch, if they just sold better, but they didn't. And I think a lot of that had to do with Sony just not taking the full tact of, like, you can't understand the full heft and depth of PC support until you do things day and date, which I think they saw with Helldivers, which I think was encouraging for them, but then they saw with this kind of diminishing return with single player games. And so we'll see what happens. Let's see. Riv Hard says, roast my hot take. Beating a game should always be rewarded with a gold trophy. I mean, I don't have a strong opinion on that. We put gold trophies on beating our games, but it really is about how you allocate your trophies. So, and like the scores behind the trophies. You have to have a trophy count. Like I think bronzes are worth 20 points, silver's worth like 60 or something. Whatever the count is, like in the back end on PlayStation, the number has to land between, I think, 1,200 and like 1,480 or whatever. So like it gives you like some chances to move things around and max. There's actually a way to like maximize the amount of golds and stuff if you care. But that's up to each developer. I don't really care. Chris Hendricks says, I apologize for butchering of the English language. Thank you for your donation. Also, I'm American. Well, we all know what's happening with the American school system these days. They didn't teach you how to read. Chris, thank you for writing in. Matthew C. wrote in and said, Bradley Swolis and Cocksnort care so much. What is that? I don't like that. Next solo stream should be drum requests. I don't know how the drums come through on this thing. Should we find out? You guys tell me how they come through. Now, let me see if I can get back to my computer quickly enough where I can hear it. Oh, yeah, I missed it. Let me see if I can go back just 10 seconds. Yeah, it does. It does come through really well. That's interesting. I didn't know that it was it would sound, I mean, it doesn't sound great, but it sounds fine. Can you do a paradiddle? I would hope so. Well, we'll keep that in mind for the future. I'm not mic'd up. It's just this mic that was picking the drums up. Yes, they are Zildjian Ks. Yes. Dark Zildjian Ks for that muddier sound. All right. Lotus 11143 wrote in and said, all right, I'll bite. Top 3 all time. Don't think too hard about it. And if PS2 Silent Hill 2 isn't on the list, I'll do absolutely nothing but sit here. I mean, that's easier in a way. I mean, that would be something like Mega Man 3, Castlevania Symphony of the Night, Super Mario World or something like that. We were talking recently, though, about how I have this really hard time of incorporating newer games into my list. Like BioShock and BioShock Infinite would probably really be in like my top list, like other games. But that's always my go-to is something like Mega Man 3, Symphony of the Night. And you would like maybe you throw in Wild Arms once in a while or something like that, you know? But whatever. Tales of Destiny. We're getting much closer to Tales of Destiny now. Tales of Eternity is coming out. There's nowhere else to go except for Tales of Destiny and Tales of Fantasia, and I'm hoping for the best. Let's see. Oh, I lost my spot. Fuck me. My God, we have a lot of these. Let's see. Sorry, I lost my space, but we're getting there. Hatham Gruxton wrote in and said, would you rather be covered in 100 spiders for 5 minutes or floating in the open ocean for 5 minutes? I would rather float in the open ocean for 5 minutes. But the spider thing, dude. So Mike and I have been going on these night walks. And we have a lot of spiders in our neighborhood, but they're smaller. They're scary. But like, we saw a spider that was fucking huge. Like, dude, it was as big as a tarantula. No joke. And we were like, holy fuck. And we skedaddled. And then we looked it up, and it's the thing called a wolf spider. And I was like, holy mother of God, dude. I didn't know we had things like that here. I know we have a lot of spiders. Some of them are pretty gnarly. But this was, dude, this is the biggest spider I've ever seen with my own 2 eyes, like in the wild, by an order of magnitude. Like, I couldn't even believe it. I was like, mother of Christ. You know? And I was like, do I kill it? Because I hate spiders. I kill all the spiders on my property when I see them. And I was like, I'll just leave it. I'm scared of it. And then we discovered they move 2 feet a second. So that thing would have fucking killed me. All right, let's see. Chief Adam wrote in and said, Sony should just have had Blueprint. I think you mean Bluepoint. Make a Bloodborne remake. Who cares if FromSoft doesn't like it? What are they going to do? Not put their games on PlayStation? I've actually thought that is... I mean, I made that same argument where I'm like, you don't want to get on the bad side of From. Sony owns a piece of Katakawa. It's like they own a piece of From Software. But you don't want to get on their bad side. But I agree with you. I said the same thing. I'm like, well, you're just going to skip PlayStation? Good luck. But you do, like, why have acrimony where there needs to be none? Then again, I agree with you. And it's what I reported when I still lived in California was that, like, that was definitely on the table. I talked to people in the know there. Like, it never came to fruition. That's what I was saying is things change. You know, but like, so yeah, you don't want to like bark up the wrong tree with Miyazaki and the other guys. But at the same time, it's like, yeah, like you kind of are holding a gun to our head. We own it. We own the IP. You don't. And by the way, you need us. Like, I would actually say, like, of course Sony wants From Software games, but I would argue they need Sony more than Sony needs From Software. I'm positive that they sell the most games on PlayStation. Positive. All right, let's move on to the next chat here since this fucking never ends because you have so much to say to me today. Shifty GR says, I believe that when the hurting and the pain is gone, we will be strong. Oh, yes, we will be strong. It's Tears for Fears. Thank you, Shifty. Pair of Shoes wrote in and said, change the 100 Chicken McNugget challenge to the 100 Olive challenge. I don't like olives at all. I like olive oil fine, but I'm not an olive guy. But I don't find them frightening like that woman did. I have to sneeze. Pardon me. Well, you didn't hear it, so you wouldn't have known the difference, would you have? Riza8541 says, do you think the Knicks can keep being successful, or was this a one-off? I don't know. I was happy for them, though. I talked to my dad on the phone last night. He called me, and he even asked me, he's like, did you watch the Knicks? My dad's not a big sports guy at all. He likes baseball. But I was like, oh, you even watched it? And he's like, yeah, it was just like a cultural thing. I'm happy for my friends that are Knicks fans. I never had an affinity for the Knicks. As I've said before, I think I'd be more of a Nets person now that they're in Brooklyn and have been for years. But I'm just not an NBA guy, really. I like basketball. I think it's a great sport. I just am not an NBA person. So I'm not going to like jump on the bandwagon and pretend I'm like thrilled. I don't really give a shit. Plus the Knicks play where the Rangers play, and the Rangers have, that's obviously a little bit of bad mojo for them. So I don't want to get too crazy for it. Cause I was saying to my dad, I'm like, yeah, I'm happy. Like the Jets and the Giants aren't really rivals. Like there's this idea outside of New York that like, oh, the Jets and the Giants fans must hate each other and the Mets and the Yankees fans must hate each other. I'm like, not really. I mean, interleague obviously changed things in baseball a little bit, but like the Yankees and the Mets aren't really dealing with each other, and the Giants and the Jets fans don't give a fuck about each other. But the Rangers and the Islanders, that's totally different. And I grew up in that environment. I absolutely loathe the New York Rangers, loathe them. And if they never won another game ever, I would be happy. So my goodwill towards these other teams only goes so far. Deluxe 247 says, so Colin, I've wondered about something for a while and it seems like a good time to ask. What's the story behind the stickers around the door? They're not stickers, actually. They're a friend of mine bought me a blue slime calendar that I think was for year 23, maybe. And so maybe 24. And I started cutting them out after every month. You'll notice that there's 12 of them. And I started cutting them out every month and just putting a piece of tape behind them, like Scotch tape, and just slamming them against the door. That's it. They're not stickers. It felt like it was such a nice calendar, like really nice construction. The paper was really thick and the stock was nice. And I'm like, it would be such a waste throughout these awesome images. So I just carefully cut them out like I was in elementary art class. KBMG3RU says, not every character needs to look like Eve, but is a touch of aesthetic appeal really a cop-out? It shuts the Smash sphere up. What's the downside? No, I agree with you. Like everyone loves attractive people. I just think that there has to be room for everyone in fiction. Not everyone's beautiful. Not everyone's story is going to be a story about a beautiful person. I don't mind there being like, we don't have to look at like a fucking troglodyte, but having like normal people in your game, I don't think is a bad thing. I'm a normal person. We're surrounded by normal people. In some way, that's more relatable. But I do find Sony specifically taking a bit of an awkward turn with some of their shit. And I'm like, it doesn't have to be like this. I don't think everything, like you said, has to be like fucking Stellar Blade. But I don't play games to goon. I don't play games because I'm trying to fuck the fake anime chicks in them. It's like, whatever. The thing is that it literally doesn't matter to me. I don't care. I want like interesting, good stories and good gameplay and interesting worlds and all of that. It's like, I don't care if the fucking female protagonist is fuckable. Who gives a shit? All right. Zeppelin Mike wrote in and said, I value Todd Howard's history, but lost faith with Starfield 76 launch, and especially his endorsement of DLSS 5. If the choice is him or Fallout and Elder Scrolls more often, I'll take the latter. I understand. It remains to be seen whether they can really do it without him. Obviously, Fallout has existed without him, but the Elder Scrolls not, because people forget Fallout wasn't even their franchise until Fallout 3. The Elder Scrolls is much more deeply Todd Howard, and there is a question on whether, there's a question as to whether they can do it without him. And they probably can. But there's going to be, like, they're answering the question right now at BioWare of, like, can they do it without a lot of their OGs? And the answer is, like, maybe. But maybe it's like we always say with the Ship of Theseus, or I like to use the reference of, like, a cover band. So, I don't know. We'll see what happens. But I have no affinity for Bethesda Game Studios. I hate to say, like, I don't give a shit. So it's like, I love Fallout 3. I think Fallout 3 was a seminal, vital game. I loved it. It revolutionized what I thought video games can do. I had never played anything like it. But that's about it. When I played Fallout 4 7 years later, and it was like, oh, okay, like nothing's changed. This is boring. And I can only imagine what they're doing with the creation engine now is a disaster. I mean, look at Starfield. So we'll see what happens. But the thing is they want more Fallout and Elder Scrolls. That's awesome, but you have to get those things going. You don't just be like, I want more and I want it in 2 years. It's like, if they don't have a Fallout game in development, like a new Fallout game in development right now, which is conceivably they don't because they're busy with the Elder Scrolls, and it's like, okay, that's going to be like a probably 6, 7, 8 year minimum $500 million project. You better get going. Christopher Burnett says, my second SC today. What does SC mean? We have to use, I don't know what you're talking. I'm 45 and been gaming for 40 years. Any advice to start a YouTube channel and do what you do, or is it impossible to break through? Feel like I have a lot to offer. It's certainly not impossible. You have to be interesting and different. You have to be consistent. You have to stick with it. It's easy for me to say because I always had an audience because I was able to be at places. Like, I never did it. I had fan sites when I was a kid, but like, I was at GameFAQs. So I had that masthead. I was at IGN. I had that masthead. I was at Kind of Funny, and I co-founded it. I had that masthead. I had all these advantages because I was already in. So going independent meant I already had a built-in audience. You don't have that. That's going to be obviously a major component of you finding your success. So you can't get discouraged if you're doing things for a few people or for no one at first, as long as you can stick with it. And you're in. I don't know much about this Mr. Beast guy. I know he's huge. But I saw a piece of an interview with him recently when he was talking about like gaming the system, basically about like thumbnails and headlines and like knowing what to do and how to do it and how much that matters. And I think and he was saying like anyone can learn how to do it. And I think he's right. It's just a matter of finding the angle and luck. I mean, luck was such a huge component of I think I have a lot of talent. I worked incredibly hard. I was where I needed to be. I did what I needed to do. But without that component of luck, it would have been a non-starter. It's kind of shitty. It's not shitty advice. It's a shitty thing to hear, but it's true. Like, you still have to roll the dice. You can weigh the dice. You can augment the dice roll, but you still have to roll them and see what happens. Triss in Wonderland wrote in and said, rank my top 5 games in your personal order. 1, Final Fantasy 16, 2, Witcher 3, 3, Ghost of Tsushima and Yote, so both of them. 4, Death Stranding, and 5, Twisted Metal. Twisted Metal 1 or Twisted Metal 2012, I wonder. I would rank them from greatest to worst. Final Fantasy 16. What's funny is I played all these games. Final Fantasy 16, Death Stranding, Ghost of Yote, Ghost of Tsushima, Witcher 3, Twisted Metal. Rob the Butcher wrote in and said, I'm about 40 minutes behind and watching it like a madman at work reminds me of Colin and Greg Live. Do you ever get tired of people telling you how to run your business? Yeah, I definitely do. I think the bigger thing is like the customer isn't always right. I believe the customer is often right. I think we have to make things for the customer. But it's about finding that balance. Like, my instincts ultimately matter a great deal too. But no, I mean, everyone has an opinion. Like, I've been extremely successful doing this. So like, obviously I know something. It's what I was dicking around about earlier when people were like, oh, you're such a stoner and you don't do anything. And it's like, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, well, but look around and compare our lives, haters. Thank you for writing in. Future Millionaire wrote in and said, thoughts on UFC 250. Did you catch Josh Hokett's comment? Random as hell, and I'm sorry, but that was hilarious. It was hilarious. I don't watch MMA. I mean, it's cool if you're into that. It's a little violent for me. But it's cool. I couldn't believe he said that. I don't know who that person is. I've never seen him in my life. I couldn't believe Joe. I love that afterwards there's like a beat and then Joe Rogan's like, all right, ladies and gentlemen. It's so funny. But it's mean. It's a mean thing to say about Michelle. Like, let's leave Michelle Obama alone. KBMG3RU says, this is just breaking, but id Software no longer appears on the jobs.zenimax site if you open all studios dropdown. Just passing this along. Yeah, I wouldn't. Maybe they're not hiring. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what's happening over there. Id getting away from Microsoft and becoming an independent studio would be a dream. They basically have almost nothing I gave a shit about after that. Machine Games would be awesome to get too, but Big Migs wrote in and said, I really want that hoodie, bro, and I feel bad because I only missed out on the opportunity because I discovered you after it was available. Is there no love for new fans, big bro? Believe it or not, this is like a one-off that someone made me. This is not even the run. This is like the original one that like someone made as a joke for me. And then we ended up replicating it. So this is not even that. I don't even have one of those. We'll maybe go down to it at some point. Go back to it at some point. The merch thing is tough because we do our own merch shop, as you guys know. So I have to put all the money out front, which is fine because we make the money back over time. And we do pretty well with merch. But you don't want to buy things that people don't want. And we also have to store them. And the thing about sweatshirts is they store about 5 times worse than t-shirts from a volume perspective. They're really hard to store. So when we did sweatshirts, we did pre-orders for that reason. And if we do them again, I think we will do pre-orders again for that reason. Not for any other reason than mostly the storage issue. We're able to easily store t-shirts and posters and stickers and all those kinds of things and all the boxes and the materials we need to ship things. But man, sweatshirts take up a ton of space. All right. P. Troit wrote in and said, if Sony asked to partner with LSM to be the PSN account repair outreach, would you be a part of that program? Something where you'd vet lost accounts? I'm not doing it, but that's something they have to, I would connect people, but I'm not vetting them. That would be something that Sony would have to do. And that would be, I feel like a kind of, I've already said what I think they should do, and it's annoying and it would be expensive for people to do, but it's important that people have access to their account. So I'm saying, like, if you get locked out of your account, you talk to a person and they're like, okay, the problem is that the accounts get stolen back and forth. No, they don't know who the real owner is anymore. And they basically throw their hands up. I mean, that's basically the core of the issue, is that we don't know if we're talking to the real person anymore. We don't know who owned the account. We don't blah, blah, blah. So they just lock it down. At that point, I would say it would be interesting to say, all right, the account's locked. No one has access to it. To prove you are this person, here is a mailing address in San Mateo. We need the following, and you can even charge for this because they already have an arbitration system that you have to pay for if you have to get through the rungs of PlayStation. There's already an arbitration system in place, but it's like, all right, you pay a small nominal fee or whatever. I don't even know. Let's not even say there's a fee. We need a copy of your identification. We need a written notarized affidavit saying you are who you are, and some other paperwork or whatever, and we will transfer your account back. Give us, a month. Mail it to this address and give us time. I think it's that important, you can't just cut these people off from their accounts. It's not like you just have some account on SOCOM in the PS2 era or whatever. I'm like, this is your whole identity. It's your trophies. It's your saves. And most importantly, it's your game library. Between PS3, PS4, PS5, and Vita, I probably have 1,200 or 1,300 games on PSN. Now, I've said before, and I want to be clear about it, I don't know that I really give a shit because I'm not going to play almost any of them. But they're mine. And they were purchased with the idea that I would have a license to them forever. You can't just do that to people. So I think that it's got to be snail mail, notarization, identification, some other things that you can do to prove it. On Sony's end, they should be able to see certain things about you, about where you've logged in, what consoles you have, where your location is. It's easy enough. And the idea that people can just spoof the account and steal it and get it stuck in this limbo forever is fucked. That's the major problem. It's not that the limbo itself exists. The limbo cuts everyone off from the account, which is actually kind of good. All right. Let's see. The Gaming Ledger says Xbox feels like the movie Major League, where the lady who owned the team was trying to sabotage it to move them to Florida. What's so funny about that is that was before Florida had their own teams, and they ended up having 2 expansion teams in the 90s. Locke says Schreier just tweeted that Double Fine and Ninja Theory are in trouble. The Ninja Theory thing surprises me because they have a game in development. I took that as a signal of them being safe. I'm surprised that they would be safe as well, but it seemed like that was a signal. So they're not going to shut them down and cancel that game, right? They just announced it. It doesn't make any sense. Man, the one hand doesn't know what the other hand's doing over there, man. I mean, in case you didn't realize. I love the movie Major League, though. Zeron21 says, Julius Caesar and Emperor Augustus added their names to the calendar, thus ruining the naming scheme. Sept 7, Oct 8, November 9, and December 10, my bet. I see what you're saying. Thank you, Zeron. MBG wrote in. Good to hear from you. He said, thoughts on Xbox basically doing a 180 and validating Sony and Nintendo's decision to stick with exclusives in the traditional console business model. I mean, we've talked about it extensively, but it's not a huge surprise. I like that Xbox tried to do something different. They had to. They had to flip the table over. They were losing the game. So Game Pass is a good idea. You had to put it in the wild to see how people would receive it, and then you had to learn how to support it. And they didn't learn how to support it properly, so it kind of just died on the vine. It also changed radically the buying behavior of their audience, and they're paying the price. And I think it goes into understanding, listen, I've been saying this for years. Don't listen to me all you want. but listen to the conventional wisdom of all the other people in the industry in positions of power who are universally saying this shit doesn't make sense. And I thought it was so funny when Bobby Kotick himself was on the stand during the FTC hearing, explaining under oath how he would never in a million years put Call of Duty in Game Pass. That was the best. I loved that. Where they're like, why wouldn't you put Call of Duty in Game Pass yourself? And he's like, well, because it doesn't make any sense. And then Jim Ryan's on the stand and they're like, so why are you against all this? And he's like, because it doesn't make any sense. They're losing money. It financially makes no sense. Voila. Xavier, Final Fantasy VIII says, Micah and Colin stream next when? We need more Micah chaos. Also, Punching Up is a great podcast with the duo. Thank you for your donation. Thank you. I'm so glad to hear you say that. I'm thrilled with how they're doing over there. And on Punching Up, I think they're doing a really good job. I want to have a presence in the Nintendo space. I think it's really, really important. And I think Punching Up has not been given the same chance that the other shows have gotten and that the hosts have changed. The show launched with a totally different lineup of people. And we're kind of salvaging it and trying to start again. As opposed to Duke, we lost ACG early on, but we had Cog, and really the classic lineup is Maddie and Cog. And Sacred has been the same since we brought in Dustin, and before that was just me and Chris. So I think the vacillating roster has hurt Punching Up, and I think they're doing a really good job of steadying it, especially for such a hungry fan base that wants to learn more and really has the most bespoke shit to talk about. So I'm really pleased to hear that you guys are enjoying them on there. Micah will be, we'll have Micah back on the streaming. The problem we have is we don't know, and I guess we'll only know when we try, is the streaming stuff. When Micah and I try to do things at the same time, it just degrades our connection in our house. But we think it might have specifically to do with Zencaster, which is such a greedy program from a bandwidth perspective. So, yeah. So I'm glad you enjoy the shows, though, and I do appreciate your kind words very much. Thank you. Let's see. DLand720 says, the word is goodwill. They've run out of goodwill. I don't want to hear another long-winded analogy about political capital. I just can't take it. Yeah, I don't. Yeah, goodwill is fine, but I don't like that term because it's not. It doesn't feel tangible. I understand what you mean, but it's still not quite right. But I think I understand what you mean. Matthew C. wrote in and said, thanks for everything you do, Colin. We give you shit, but we love you, man. Thank you. I love you too. Glassdoor Gamer says, Xbox management, shut the fuck up challenge is stuck at 0 days. I just don't know why they won't shut up. No one knows. I promise you other people in the industry are being like, what the fuck is wrong with these people? The Everything Man says, hey, Colin, during the Dustin-less time, you should take a stab at that trophy cleanup stream idea you originally talked about doing. Yeah, I do want to do that at some point because a lot of them are on PS3, and I bought this thing a while ago. Here it is. So the PS3, you can't put into Elgato. It won't read it. So you have to feed it into something like this that I bought. It's like a 4K splitter. Then you feed the signal into this. Then you put the Elgato into this, and it reads it. So I actually, from a technical perspective, am ready to go. The thing I have to do next, I'll show you guys what I'm talking about, actually, because I can do that. Let me see. Let me see if I can find it. I almost searched for Moriarty IGN. Jesus Christ. Been shot in the head. Trophy Advisor. Okay. I think this will work. Yeah, so this is what I'm talking about. This is a really cool feature on PSN profiles. Let me see if I can move it over. Okay. So it shows you all the trophies from games you've played, but the trophies you missed. And then it orders them in the easiest, like the most common trophies. So you can jump into like a God of War Ascension is the game I have is the game that I don't have the trophies in that I've played and pinged that I can get the easiest trophies in and so on and so forth. So going and cleaning some of these up, I think would be really fun at some point. And I'd like to do that. And as you can see, they're virtually all PS3 games. So I'm going to have to do that on PS3, but I think that'd be fun. I also see, I got the text message from Dustin. I didn't want to, I wanted to respect, I've been talking to Dustin since before we were on today. I just wanted to respect his wishes to, here we go. All right, let me see if I'll bring this Twitter up so we can show everyone. Give me 1 minute. Let's see here. All right, wonderful. Little baby Leon. Love it. So excited, so happy. We're going to have that kid on the podcast very, very soon. And thank you. I picked out that name. So I'm so glad that you guys liked it. So very, very exciting. Very, very exciting. So happy for them. They're going to be such great parents. Can you imagine Dustin as a father? It's going to be so exciting. And Uncle Colin. Now, I have 6 real nieces and nephews, and I'm a very good uncle to them. I spoil the shit out of them. So we'll add little Leon Colin to the list. Very, very exciting. All right. Congratulations to Dustin. Everyone go send your kindest regards to him. I am not the godfather. I don't know. Dustin doesn't have. I don't know if Holly has a brother either. It won't be me. I am a god. I do have a godson. One of my nephews. Actually, didn't I tell you guys the story of how Dagan? So Declan is my oldest nephew. My sister Dana's kid. Dagan, Derek, my brother-in-law's brother. One of his brothers is the godfather. My sister Allie's the godmom, and then Dagan had his oldest, Lilia, who's in college now as well. And I was supposed to be her godfather. And because I'm a fake Catholic, and because especially my sister-in-law's side is so devoutly Catholic, we were basically going to lie and say, like, yeah, I'm confirmed and whatever. And like, just because it's like a thing. It's like, it's an honorary thing. We're not really doing it for religious reasons. We're doing it as like an honorary thing to honor the person and to be like, yeah, you take care of this person if, God forbid, something happens to me. And so I was supposed to be Lilia's godfather, and then they had to remove it from me because we were lying, and they had a problem with me lying to the church. So Lilia was born, and then my sister Dana again had her second of 3 boys, Finley, and I'm his godfather. All right. And people like felt so bad about it. I'm like, I don't really care, man. It's not that bad. Like, it was such I'm so sorry. Like, oh my God. And I'm like, it doesn't. It's fine. Let's see. Spanish Deco says, are we reaching the precipice in U.S. game dev where being HQ'd in California or Washington is untenable? Could there be a push to relocate in cheaper states? I mean, yeah. The problem is that this has to be broken at some point because studios go where people are. People are where studios are. Studios go where people are. People are where studios are. Studios go where people are. You know what I mean? So before you know it, you have L.A., Santa Monica specifically is a huge bustling part, and Irvine as well, if you want to go further south. You have Seattle and Bellevue. To a lesser degree, San Francisco. There's not a lot of studios in San Francisco. You would expect there to be more. There's not that many. And then you have like little hot spots. Obviously, Bethesda and Maryland has really big development with Bethesda and Firaxis. You have things going on in North Carolina and stuff like that. But that's the reason that these places are where they are. It's a self-fulfilling prophecy. And that's why I get so nervous for Bend, because they are in the middle of nowhere. And if they lose their jobs at that studio, it's over. I mean, they'd have to move and leave the state probably. But yeah, like the cost of doing business, I believe that more and more meaningful games will come from Eastern Europe, which has already been the case for a while, but at a bigger volume, and Asia. Japan, it's so cheap to make games in Japan. When you look at games like Requiem and you look at games like Pragmata, if they were made by an American team, they would have cost probably more than twice as much. I am telling you that the average salary at Naughty Dog is in the 6 figures. And I am telling you that when you leave college and go work for Capcom, they pay you $28,000 a year. So you have to compare those two things. Let's see. Us X-Man says, Colin, why can first party like Insomniac get 4 games this generation, but Naughty Dog can't even get 1 new game out? Similar with Santa Monica. Yeah, I mean, Insomniac's a much bigger team than both of those other teams, but yeah, point taken. I think it's frustrating. And Insomniac's a workhorse. That's what I was saying about Obsidian for Xbox earlier. It's like, all right, you can shit on some of their stuff and they didn't sell very well, but it's like, at least they're doing it. They're like, at least without Obsidian, you'd be fucking, what would you even have? And it's the same thing with Insomniac. It's like, you cut Insomniac's games out. It's like, what do you even have? You would literally be losing Ratchet, the Nexus game, Spider-Man 2, and then Wolverine this generation without Insomniac. It's like half the games. And Chris Hendrick says, Leon Furman, great name, Colin. Thank you so much. That's the final inquiry we have, by the way. I'm cutting it off. No more. Because I got to go mow the lawn. It's getting late. But that was fun. So Leon Furman has joined us here in this world. He'll be on the podcast very shortly. And it'll be very exciting. Please go send your love to Dustin and Holly. I will also do that by proxy for you. I'll go call him and congratulate him after I'm done here. And yeah, that's basically it. I hope you guys had fun. It was fun for me to just talk to you. Sorry, we didn't really have any technical issues. I want to be able to get the chat on screen though, and we'll definitely solve that for the next time. Give us your feedback. Let us know what you thought of this stream without Dustin. And I thought it was pretty fun though. I had a good time. All right. Time to go. Guys, I appreciate you. Be well. Stay safe. Oh, we have one more inquiry, by the way. Mega Shilly Shally. That's a... Colin, Bloomberg just posted an article about Ninja Theory, Double Fine, Compulsion, and other studios currently negotiating with Xbox and maybe closing. Interesting. So they'll probably all try to go like what Toys or Bob did, or Toys from Bob. Toys with Bob? Toys of Bob. I don't know. Whatever. All right. I'm going now. Guys, be well. Have a great week. Be safe. Enjoy yourselves. I'll be around. We'll see you on Sacred. And we'll be streaming again next week. Until then, goodbye to you. Oh, this is what we have to do here. Okay, goodbye.